FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It was a late night for us. Thank goodness for sleep aids. I woke up at like 7:30 in the morning and just decided, you know what, I'm just going to get up and live with the headache, so to speak. And that's kind of where we are, living with the headache. Pour a little caffeine in me and in you, and let's get through this thing today and ring out the old and ring in the new and do our thing, because here we are. It is the Monday after the bowl game. My name's Tony Basilio. Hey, is the, okay, it's on over there. I got Sean Sinclair with me. I got Brian Hartman. Wednesday with Watson Brown coming up today in our second hour, which means we get to talk and hang out for the first hour. And the question for you is real simple today. I put it before the assembled masses here. Now that the season's been played, what are the lessons learned? Let's turn the page from last night's bowl game. There's no sense in beating a dead horse. That season's over. But now that you can pull yourself back, and just to get you in the right frame of mind, and sort of what I'm looking for is, a season is not a season now. It's not used to be a 12, 13, now 14, 15 game deal for some people. A season is actually, it's not a season anymore. Hey, Laura, why does YouTube look like this? Just out of curiosity. YouTube, click it on. A season isn't a season. A season begins on October of the previous year. The way I look at it. Football seasons now go from October of the previous year through the conclusion of the next football season. And so the question for you is, tell me about, if you can, what you learned from this season. Okay, so we're in another session. Okay. All right. Reopen it. Close it and reopen it. Okay. I'm confusing myself over here. YouTube's driving me nuts. I just want to follow along with my YouTubers. And by the way, check out our YouTube channel, Tony Basilio. YouTube channel. There we are. Okay. What are the lessons learned? What are the lessons learned here? You tell me. Sean Sinclair, you've been deep diving on next season, because that's where I'm at. I'm in the next season. You got to learn your lessons, though. You got to learn your lessons if you're going to look toward next season. You got to learn your lessons. Or you're just going to make the same mistakes and you're going to get run over. In this league, you're going to get run over. So, I want you at 865-200-5402. We're getting right to the calls. I can promise you that. This is not one of these, we're going to have fun and, I'm going to goof around with you. No. We're going right to the phones. So get in at 865-200-5402. What are the lessons learned that you would like to put forward that you hope this team has learned? That you want that head coach and that organization to learn from this season, because they got to tighten their game up. They got to tighten their game up. They got to tighten their game up. If this guy's going to make it, they got to tighten their game up. And we're at that spot right now. We're at the spot where you look at him and you go, hey, I like him and I want him to make it, but if he keeps going where he's going, he's not going to make it. I'm not being an alarmist. I'm keeping it, as they say in the hood, I'm keeping it 100. 100. So, let's go to the phones. Before we do, Sean St. Clair, give me just something when you think about this season that kind of stands out to you, a lesson that, because we're in a new era. It's a different time. It's a different day. It's a different age. The sport has completely reinvented itself right before our very eyes. And I think there's lessons aplenty to learn from what Tennessee did this year, or didn't do, for that matter. Go ahead, Sean, as I welcome you in. And by the way, Sean, thank you for sitting in with us for 4+ hours last night and then answering the bell 10 hours later. Appreciate you being there, brother.
Well, no, well, it's my pleasure and privilege, and I apologize. Last night I literally fell asleep on the air, so that's at that point I just turned it off, and I apologize for that. But you're at it after 3 + 4 hours.
Yeah, you hung for
just,
4. We went 4.5.
I couldn't do it.
You hung. We did 4.5, and you hung for 4. Which, hey, that's a lot of good stuff. Brian Hartman conked out 2 hours in, so and I don't blame anybody for conking out. That team last night, man. Hey, Illinois did the go to sleep on the Vols last night. They put us to sleep. So.
Well, you know what? I talked to you earlier, and this is not positive. This is not negative. I just wanted to look objectively at facts.
Yep.
And so I went through the roster, assuming nobody else transfers out of here.
Yep. Go ahead, Sean. And
so in the past 2 years, the past 2 years on defense, we have downgraded. We went from 2 years ago. I'm calling last year. We lost Simmons. We lost on the D line. We lost Simmons. We lost Amari Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
There's another big boy. We lost Norman Lott.
Mm-hmm.
We lost James Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought, well, the guy's moving up. Okay, well, the guy's moving up we thought was going to be a strength. And again, just facts. And no offense. But this year, Caleb Herring, Joseph was not Pierce. The guys in the middle, Moy, Dominic Bailey, Tyree West, and I'm missing one, an inside guy. They weren't what the other guys were. Well, those guys are all gone. And then in the DBs, we've lost Hood. We've lost McCoy. We didn't have him this year, but McCoy looks like McMurray, who had a nice play last night, was a pleasant surprise in the portal. But when you take a look at actually who's on the roster and who would come back, excluding anybody that's already said they're going to transfer, there's not a lot going on. And the guys that are going on, there are 5 stars out there, and there are highly ranked 4 stars, but they're all freshmen, redshirt freshmen or sophomores that haven't played a lot. I'll give you Utley. I'll give you Campbell, 4 to 5 stars. I'll give you Dye, 4-star. Harmon and Perlotti, 4-star, right? Ty Redmond looks the player. Hopefully we'll get back Gibson. But outside of those guys, Jordan Ross was a 5-star. He was 3rd string this year. What's really going on? And not only that, where's the leadership coming from? Because your leaders are not your best players right now. With all due respect, you could say T-Lander's going to be your captain, and he's going to. I'm sorry, no. He's a vocal guy. He's a strong kid. He's a coach's kid. Love him to death. I do. Love him to death. You can't play at this level. But if you can't play at this level, the younger guys have a hard time looking up to you and monitoring and emulating what you do. In the secondary, there's really nothing. We have the dirty little secret here is that we have been recruiting the high school ranks a bunch of the same players, 3-star guys, that were not highly rated, that did not have a lot of, what I call Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon committable offers. And we've been trying to develop them. And our best players have been the transfers: McMurray, Hood, McCoy. We don't have those guys that have experience and have game time on defense. So now on offense, we've got the whole offensive line that can return. We've got 2 established SEC wide receivers. We'll see what Matthews does, and some very talented prospects behind him. We've got, I think, a very good running back in Bishop and a good prospect in Morris, and we have no quarterback. And then at tight end, we've got a bunch of good prospects that seem to be underutilized right now. So that's what we have. So that whole thing is to set up here is there has to be an incredible influx of quality and quantity in that portal, because there's not a lot coming up that you can count on. There are a lot of prospects, but they don't have much experience, and that lack of experience is going to be learning a brand new defense with brand new coaches against a much more serious schedule. Pretty sobering.
So Sean learned, I think what he's saying is we better get bitty in the portal versus last year when we rested in the portal.
And it's not budget time either. You got to go out and get some dudes.
Let's go to the phones. I want to know what you've learned. What did the last 16 months teach you? Because really that's what these seasons are. And the reason I say that is when the season starts is when you start poaching off other people's rosters. And we're going to find out how much homework Tennessee's done when the portal opens in 2 days, and if in fact there are some guys that go in there and Tennessee pulls them right out. That means to me that they put them in there. They put them in there. So we're going to go back to the phones. What are some lessons that you've learned? Let's go to the phones. We'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Hello and welcome into our first call. You're on the air.
Hey, guys.
Hey, welcome
Josh
in.
Boy.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Cinco, something you said last night was pretty interesting. You said Kurt Signetti, his sample size is not too big. He made the playoffs the last 2 years.
Oh, I said you're exactly right. But I still think that there's time for up and down. He's done an amazing job, perhaps the best job of all time, turning around an absolute loser program and just done, and they're number one and just knocked off the king. You're exactly right. My intention in that statement was that we don't have a lot. He was okay at James Madison, but then he's been an assistant coach. We don't know what's coming next. You know, Oklahoma's, they've been up and down, et cetera, et cetera. So you're right. But I still, is he going to do this over 4 and 5 years? But that's what I meant by that. But you're right.
You only want to know if it's sustainable or not, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's tracking great. I mean, you know, what is the old saying? By year 2, we should have a pretty good idea of where you are as a head coach.
Yep.
I didn't invent that statement, but statement's been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much held true. I think by year 1 and year 2, well, Josh, come on. You know that guy right now. That team beat Illinois by 50 points.
Yeah.
The way those guys play football and the way that coach is just a mother, he would score 70 points on us, and you know it.
Yeah, I know it too. So, Tony, 2 things. Here's what I think is wrong with the defense. I think we just don't have the guys, dudes. I think they're too small. They need to reevaluate, go in the portal, get bigger physical dudes. And I think the style of play of this offense is a backbreaker to the defense most of the time. You don't give them time on the bench to rest, and I think that kills their momentum.
Somebody brought up a really good point last night, which is counterintuitive, but you've got an interesting point. Somebody said we need to gamble more on defense, which is something that I kind of made a note of. And these are lessons that I'm talking about we can all kind of discuss here today, because I think it's all on the table. Because the thing about Tennessee's offense is if you keep them off the field enough, as we've seen in the Heupel era, they get way out of rhythm, way out of whack, and they become neutralized. So,
right,
Josh, you've got a great point, man.
Guys,
and I know.
Well, guys,
a really good point.
Ken Donahue, 40 years ago, at the end of his career when he was around here, someone asked him a similar question about time of possession and that. Yeah. And Ken Donahue said, as a defense, you control when you get off the field.
Yep.
You stop the offense, period.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what the offense your own offense does. When you got 3rd and 5, if you want to get off the field, you get off the field.
Yep.
And he's right. The offense has nothing. Sure, you may have more times on the field, but heck, the defense was only on the field, 8 times last night?
Somebody said last night we would be much better off just taking gambling rather than letting a defense or an offense rather chew us up for those 9-minute drives, and then you never touch the ball, and then you're never in the game. The Vols were never in that game last night for that reason. But Josh, I'm going to come back to you now and make a point. Go ahead.
You got to use your timeouts before halftime. I know Illinois, they scored a field goal, but you can't take your timeouts to halftime. You got to use them,
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're called timeouts, Tony. And last thing, if Kurt Signetti was the coach, we'd probably get to the Final Four right now. See ya.
No, I don't think that's a lesson. That's not a... Brian, give me a lesson you learned just watching this whole thing transpire this year.
I don't know if this is a lesson, but I was reminded how there's such a fine line between the kind of season that Tennessee had, which I kind of thought they were going to win 8 games, 9 max anyway, so it's really not that far off my expectation. But if just a few plays, every game they lost, they were pretty much in except the second half against Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
If 1 or 2 plays in these games go another way, which they easily could have, if you stop a 4th and 6 against Georgia, if Max Gilbert's kick goes through the upright, if you don't throw a pick 6 to end the half against Bama, if you don't have that awful turnover against Oklahoma, what does the season look like? It may seem like it was a complete disaster to some, but it could have easily been one of the most memorable seasons ever if a couple of those plays go your way.
So your lesson is just don't do anything differently, just run it back.
So no, you've got to go find a kicker.
Oh,
you've got to take some chances. I mean, that's just sort of what you got to have more, especially on special teams. I think sometimes I don't see the adjustments. I didn't see adjustments coming in and out of halftime, and that's why they went out and they got another coordinator besides Banks. And I would have liked to have seen some things to sort of change momentum in games. The way the Vanderbilt game at halftime, perfectly a chance to go for some kind of surprise onside kick and do something like that. I keep harping on that, but I mean, I just didn't see the urgency to do so. To do something like that.
Well, they had
try to surprise your opponent.
They had a good opportunity to do that last night. You know the thing that's weird about Heupel, Sean, is he came in here super aggressive all over the place, and he's gotten super complacent all over the place. Sean, isn't that an interesting thing that's occurred here under him?
It is, and it's very human nature to come in balls of fire and then start protecting what you have. That's what Fulmer did. That's what a lot of other people do. It's likely what I do. You spend more effort trying to protect what you have than trying to go get what you want. That's what made Nick Saban so crazy special. Is every year was a new walk up Mount Everest, and he was ready for it. But you know what? What struck me this morning was the similarity between that Josh Heupel's in right now and what Venables was in at Oklahoma. Very similar guys. They know each other. They came up together. Last year, Venables with Oklahoma had a tough schedule, and they didn't perform like their faithful want. And he got religion real quick because he found out that, man, I'm out of here. God bless his wife and all his family as they go through her healing. But you know, he was, if he doesn't produce this year, he's out of a job. End of story. No matter how much we like you, and he is an elite. He is every bit a defensive coordinator as Josh Heupel is an offensive coordinator. He's elite, and he was going to be out of a job if he didn't go get the top quarterback, top offensive coordinator. He went out and got the top running back who didn't pan out much.
Yeah,
and then he went and solidified his. They spent a ton of money on people. And I find that the similarity with Josh Heupel, because it was used a lot last night. He's at a crossroads, and the crossroads is very much so is that, hey, do I want to go against what I've all my life and then go this way and do what it has to do to become elite, no matter how, and Bino said this, no matter how uncomfortable it makes me, know how many friendships it ruins, no matter what happens here, or do I want to just go with the flow, throw Jim Knowles in there and say, hey, buddy, you need to bail me out. This is your thing. Good luck. Do your thing. And then, because his next step is not a promotion. Josh Heupel's next step is, like someone said last night, offensive coordinator at Ohio State or a coach at a Group of 5 program.
And you need to be more aggressive in the portal. I know that also came home to roost.
Back to the
and I'm not talking about just wide receivers either. They need to be more aggressive this year.
Back to the phones. They've got so many needs on their football team. Look, they got offensive line needs. They were getting caved in last night, our veteran offensive line. And they got caved in the games that mattered this year, if you go back and watch it. The interior of that offensive line was getting worked last night.
And that offensive line makes a lot of money.
A lot
of money. Proportionately too much money for their production.
Correct. I agree with that. So there's lessons here. You give me yours. You give me yours. Lessons learned.
I wonder if any of the 47 analysts, if any of them could suit up.
It's not the 47 analysts' fault because it's it's the assistant coaches. The assistant coaches are the ones at the end of the day that have the voice. That those guys don't get the voice. But let's go back to the phones and you tell me lessons that you've learned from this year, and we get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Hey Tony, Nathan, Chattanooga. How are you?
Hey Nathan, good to talk to you, man.
Good to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a while. It's to your good on you. It's difficult to get in, especially after games and such. Popular. So, I don't know if this is a lesson, but I really, was struggling to find anything, even though we do have some really good statistics on offense, that you can just hang your hat on that we do just extremely well as a team. Can you all think of something that you say, okay, we do that very well?
No. And so from that perspective, you're sitting in that room and you have to ask yourself, do we need to refocus on developing our identity? That's how I would put that in lesson form, Nathan, what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I think that's fair. I think that's a fair statement, because if I'm a head coach and you can't tell me what my identity is as a football team, I feel like I'm in a lot of trouble. I feel like I'm just kind of ambling around.
One thing is, they didn't get any better from the first game. They looked really good against Syracuse, a full-strength Syracuse team.
Yep.
Did they do much improvement throughout the course of the season?
No.
It's almost like they regressed after Georgia or others figured us out.
Yes.
and Georgia kept, like good teams do, getting better week after week after week.
Yeah.
And another thing is that it seems like, for whatever reason, Heupel is unable to get and demand the very excellence from his players. Because the best coaches and the top end programs, they find a way to demand excellence.
Yes.
From their best players. And we have guys out there that could go play on a lot of teams. Probably, I really think. They have the ability, but he's not getting the most out of his roster. And when you're paying the kind of money that we're paying for it, that's a big problem.
Yeah, and like Sean said, look, they had some guys not. What happens is when you don't develop your own, and until coming into this season, they hadn't developed their own on offensive line, for instance. There are a couple guys, and Sean knows this, is why he said what he said, that if you knew what they were making on that offensive line, guys that played a little, you would be galled. Fans would freak out, wouldn't they, if they realized how they overpaid for some of these mid-offensive linemen? But they had to, because when you don't develop guys, the guys that are there that can kind of semi-play are what they are. You got to have somebody on your roster, and that's kind of what's happened here. So, again, player development.
It's two things. Two things with the offensive line is the fact that, one, they haven't been able to develop guys at center. So what you did was you had to overpay for Pendleton, who's okay, and so he goes from being an okay. Mo was great, I think. Very, very good. Hurd was better. I wouldn't say he was good, and David Sanders was okay. I would say Jesse Perry was a very pleasant surprise.
Yes.
But when you don't recruit a center, and they've tried Nick Moore, they tried Satterwhite, they tried the young man that transferred eventually to Arkansas and then to SMU, they couldn't find a replacement for Mays. And so you take an okay guard, you move him to center with Pendleton. That means now you got to play Sham Umarov, who's a guy that gets paid exceedingly well, and he's not great. And so all of a sudden you take an okay guard and make him, I'm just going to say it, Pendleton played poorly. Now, it may not be his fault. That's not his position. He got destroyed the last half of the year for whatever reason. And last night was embarrassing. Absolutely destroyed. And so by a mid, as you say, a mid defensive line in Illinois. So now you got that. And then all of a sudden you got one guy with Jesse Perry, but because you've allocated your money to these two tackles, Jesse Perry played better this year than David Sanders. Sorry, he did at right tackle. And if you notice, once they moved him, and I'm not saying Sanders isn't great, he's going to be. But once they moved Sanders from right tackle to right guard and then put Sanders out there, it downgraded. It just did. The cohesiveness, the synchronicity, whatever you want to call it, was not the same. And so they've misevaluated players. You got guys on there like Agamoro, Nick Anderson, on and on of guys. Gage Ginther, we haven't heard that name in 2 years. Jeremiah's Hurd, been lay down lineman last night who took a nap after that one.
That was incredible.
After the kickoff return, you got a bunch of guys who are not pressing for playing time. And then they got to go out and overpay for good players, not great players.
And so
it's a problem.
So the failure of the offensive line coach, who's a friend and a family member, he just is. He's not going anywhere. But the inability of him to develop has led you into spending lots and lots of money on that offensive line. Last night, one of the themes was, Nathan, that you probably listened to it, but when you spend as much as we spent on high school recruiting, I'm not sure that's a right approach.
Well, it's the right approach if you're able to evaluate properly and develop, right?
Yes.
But when you can't do those things, it just obviously looks like the wrong recipe. And it's just like I'm not out on him as a person, or we just kind of look, and we got to look at what we have and what the sample of what we have with him. But as you look at him right now, like today, Josh Heupel and the trajectory he's on, because of all of these things and the schedule that we have next year, and you look at the top tier programs, we're nowhere near the top tier programs in the way that our team handles itself, the discipline it plays with, the intensity it plays with, the sense of urgency it plays with, technique, angles. I mean, you name it. We're nowhere near that. So it almost seems highly unlikely that he's going to be able to all of this way to demand excellence from the guys on that roster and go out and get new guys to plug in. I don't think it's looking great for him. I just don't.
Well, Nathan, thank you. And look, it's not too late to change your approach. It's not too late to say, hey, from this day forward, we're going to demand a different standard. I heard Saban say that. It was interesting. I was watching that Game Day show, which I hardly ever watch, but I heard Saban say something. He was talking about a game where he said, I was early in my tenure at Michigan State. He said, I've been on all sides of this. He said, I've had teams that were really, really great and way better than everybody. And so we would ask them to play to a standard. And the standard was, we don't care if we win or lose, and we really don't care by how much we win or lose by, but we want to look at each other when we're done and say, everybody in here did what they should have done tonight. And if you don't, then you ask yourself, why not, and how do we get there? And then he said, I was at Michigan State early on in my tenure there, and we were playing somebody we had zero chance against. And we walked out on the field, and we got our ass handed to us. He said, but we played to our standard. In other words, we got what we got out of our roster. We got what we had. And I don't know, is Tennessee getting what they have out of the roster? Did they get it this year out of the roster? And then one other thing is, offensively, you know what Josh Heupel's offense was when we played teams that could play? It was the first drive of the game. And then you might as well just send those guys up in the stands and go to the concession stand and go get something to eat. I mean, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Go right down the field last night and score. And then you've got these other offenses now that are playing keep away from you. And why wouldn't they? And they're forcing Tennessee's team to execute and play clean football. It's a very interesting thing that's going on here. As we continue with more on the other side, lessons learned. That's what we're looking for. We've had some good ones so far. We continue with more. I just saw our producer tells me that Mark in the Lumbo leads off after this. Living Vol fan, make Alumni Hall your one-stop shop for all your Vol fans on your shopping list this holiday season. There's nothing better than getting your favorite Tennessee gear under the tree. Picture it, a nice polo shirt, a new hoodie, something for the man cave. Pop in and see my friends at Alumni Hall. Best selection of Tennessee gear. Alumni Hall, 3 Knoxville locations. Bristol, Johnson City, Murfreesboro, or online at alumnihall.com. It's easy to have a big orange Christmas. And happy holidays from everyone at Alumni Hall. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience. Alumni Hall. Calhoun's invites you to leave the cooking to us all holiday season long. Between now and the end of the year, feast without the fuss. When you host at the holidays, don't you dare cook. Go absolutely next level with this offer between now
And the first of the year, Calhoun's is offering an incredible deal on delicious turkey or prime rib dinner. You could feed from 5 to 10 people at your home holiday gathering, not lift a finger of preparation. The turkey dinner comes with amazing sides like mashed potatoes, peas, melt-in-your-mouth gravy, dressing to die for, fresh rolls, cranberry sauce, and homemade cheesecake. And the prime rib dinner features amazing melt-in-your-mouth prime rib, fresh mashed potatoes, au jus, green beans, gravy, rolls, horseradish sauce, and delicious fresh baked cheesecake. This amazing offering is available now through the new year. Call to place your order today. More information found at holidayfeedpack.com. Again, that's holidayfeedpack.com. Feast without the fuss this holiday season with Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee.
When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gouffon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gouffon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gouffon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gouffon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gouffon.com. That's Gouffon.com, or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gouffon Moving and Storage.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Cold weather is on its way, and keeping your home warm and cozy doesn't have to cost a fortune. Upgrade your HVAC system with Pipe Wrench Home Services and get payments as low as $137 per month. You'll also save on utility bills with a new energy-efficient HVAC system to keep your home warm and comfortable through the holidays. We make it easy with free on-site estimates on replacements and free second opinions on repairs. So call or schedule your appointment online today at pipewrench.com. and get a new energy-saving HVAC system for as little as $137 per month. We are committed to keeping your home cozy and worry-free this holiday season. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Offer good with approved credit. Some restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Tony Basilio, proud to bring to you Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Alan, 'tis the season of giving, and you're in a giving mood.
We're in a giving mood, Tony. We're extending this sale, this 40% off sale. And to the Tony Basilio loyal listeners, of course, we're going to do the 45% off using code word Tony. And because it's the time for giving, if you use that Dave promo code, we're going to give you 45% off. But get this, Tony. We're not going to give you a warranty. We ain't going to give you a warranty because we know if you use a Dave promo, you're going to have problems with your floor.
The great thing, though, with the Supercore floor, Alan, and you've proven this over at YouTube, is it's hard to have problems with your floor.
It's hard to have problems, yes, Tony. We don't have claims. I mean, we literally don't. We've got a remarkable product. It's waterproof, pet-proof. It's even mother-in-law proof for the holidays. So there you go. We have 120 different Supercore floors. It's got a lifetime warranty. Room visualizer. You can take a picture of your room, drop our floor right into it. We've got all this stuff in stock here in Johnson City. We ship nationwide for free.
120 Supercore floors, 45% off through the new year. Alan at WeShipFloors.com. Anything else for us?
Go Vols, Tony.
Love it! WeShipFloors.com. Yeah, Alan fires me up and focuses me and prepares me. If you get the opportunity, do business with him. And any of our great sponsors. As I said last night when we left the airwaves, and, here we are. We're at the end of 2025. It's been kind of a wild, long year for us. Laura had a surgery earlier in the year and was in the hospital for a while. I had my back issue and wasn't able to walk for like 6 or 8 weeks. And anybody that's been through that knows what I'm talking about. And I still have all this leftover nerve stuff that's driving me nuts, keeps me up at night sometimes, but I'm doing the best I can. Hey, we're here. Praise God for life. Praise God for friends. The opportunity to do this every day, to get to know people, to serve our community, and do what we're doing. So we're just glad to be here, and excited to be here. And one thing that, and before we go to the phones, I just want to say I just really appreciate your support. Appreciate you supporting our sponsors. I appreciate you spreading the word for what we do. Look, we've grown this thing in a very grassroots way. We're getting a new board in here and upgrading some stuff in our studio. And I was talking to a guy that we've dealt with for years and years and years, and he said, so you're with, and he named one of the big radio companies in town. And I said, no. I said, I'm on my own. I've been on my own for 20 years. And he said, huh? I said, yeah, I'm on my own. I've been on my own for 20 years. He said, man, that's pretty rare in a radio business. I said, yeah. I kind of realized that. He said, no, you don't understand. That's extremely rare because we're making some upgrades in here because we want we've been at it here. I don't want to bore you, but we've been at it for 15 years here, and we have to upgrade our infrastructure to kind of keep up with what's going on. So we'll go back to our phones. I did want to say, though, thank you. We will not have a show tomorrow. Beanstar and myself will be with you on Friday. It's been a rocky 2025 in many ways, but we're glad to be here. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our sponsors. Truly, that is what keeps me in business, keeps us all in business, and truthfully, without those folks, this ain't happening. So, back to the phones we go. I have people tell me all the time, you ought to take your post-game show, put it behind a paywall, you'd be a millionaire. And I said last night, listen, not everything that counts can be counted. I truly believe that. I love the idea of anybody being able to access what we do. I love that idea. Not that there's anything wrong with paywalls. Hey, one day we might do that. I do not want to do that. I do not want to do that. Let's go to the phones. We'll get as many people in here as possible. And as promised, here's the Colombo Kid. Colombo Kid, welcome in.
Hey, Tony, everybody. Merry New Year!
Hey, Merry New Year, Colombo. Hope it's good to you and yours, brother.
I wanted to piggyback on what Cinco was talking about in terms of the evaluations before I get into what I was going to say.
Sure.
Yeah, like I think this it's such an underrated part of the whole organization is the GM and the people doing the evaluations on these kids, because this isn't the old days where if 7 kids bust in a class, well, who cares? It happens everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now the kid busts, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the people who write the checks, like, they're not getting any return on this investment. It's all out of feelings for a school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a hard time telling these guys how to spend their money because I don't give one dime to the collective. Sorry, I'm not giving a dime for a college kid to play football.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, at some point they say, what's my money going towards? And if the players they're playing for seem like busts,
mm-hmm.
maybe the money faucet gets turned off. That's why there couldn't be more right on these misevaluations. I mean, I think that's a big component here. But I was going to talk about lessons learned. This is what I was screaming about all last spring. You walked off the field in Columbus, Ohio last year, and you got to see what the top of the sport looked like. And you had 2 ways to go, either status quo or get better. And they chose status quo. And with this schedule that they had this year, it was prime opportunity to really make a statement and make back-to-back playoffs. And if you look at this year's playoff field and last year's playoff field, you would have been one of 5 schools to do that. Now, yeah, we got our skulls caved in last year. I was a big enough idiot to think we actually had a chance in that game. I admit it.
Yep.
But, look, it was a bad draw. Ohio State was no 8 seed. If we play SMU or Indiana or somebody, we end up in a national quarterfinal. But you make back-to-back playoffs, you firmly establish yourself as a top 10 program in the country, period. And they chose not to. And then the Nico thing happened. Now, I give them credit. When the Nico thing happened, they didn't panic and push even more chips in the middle in the spring portal and bring in a bunch of guys that can't play for a bunch of money. Like, I credit them for that. They pulled chips back and kind of folded with a bad hand. But, like, this is what I was screaming about all last spring. Like, why aren't we pushing this thing all in? We got Nico coming back and whatnot, but this is the way they went. And on the high school recruiting thing, I think we can be a program that builds through high school. I think we're a big enough boy to do that. You know, Lane at Ole Miss won 50 games in 5 years by doing it through the transfer portal. He felt that's the way he needed to do it. And, dude, they pumped 12 guys in the NFL draft last year, and they were all from the portal.
Yeah.
So that's the way but I don't think we have to do that. We beat Ohio State for David Sanders. We beat LSU for Tristan Keys. Like, we can win recruiting battles for 5-star kids with our money.
Yep.
But they have to be developed, and you can't misevaluate. And, like, you know, get the kids in high school. You probably build more culture that way. You plug from the portal. But, man, anybody that looked at this team this year and thinks, like, this is a player or 2 away, man, I don't know what to tell you, because this team is not 1 or 2 plays in the playoff, regardless of what some people are trying to say. No, it's not. That kid last year, this past year's Georgia game, had a hot first quarter. He threw 2 jump balls that should have been intercepted and went for touchdowns. And outside of that, it wasn't great.
Sean, your thoughts on what Columbus is saying? He thinks one lesson is, and I agree with him wholeheartedly, you have got to hit the portal every year like your hair is on fire. But when you have a year where you had that schedule, if you'd have added 3 or 4 more players, like I was saying, just 3 or 4 more, like I was saying, even with what the quarterback did in pulling the trick and walked right out on you, you could have been in a spot to make a playoff if you would have gotten 3 or 4 more difference makers. Just say on defense alone. I just couldn't believe what they did last year. It urinated me off at the time. It pisses me off now. It's because I got news for you. Danny White is charging the rank and file fan through their rectum. I mean, let's get real here. So, Sean, I hate to say to Columbus that I agree with him, but I agree with him. Your thoughts?
Well, I don't have a problem with what Danny White charges because everybody has a financial decision to make. It's supply and demand. Do you want to go or do you not want to go? Can you afford it or you cannot afford it? That's just a reality in life. Most people can't buy a brand new Mercedes-Benz. It is what it is. But I agree with Mark somewhat. The players you mentioned, Tristan Keys and David Sanders, yes, those are the guys that I would spend my money on that are high school kids. But if you look at the class right now, we signed 10 defensive line prospects that have no chance to contribute in the next 2 years. They're just not ready. They're not highly enough rated like Isaiah Campbell or Marion Dye. They just, so you got 10 guys sitting there. I don't know how much they're costing, but they're not contributing. Mm-hmm. Aside from Joel Wyatt, who we don't know, they signed at least 7 guys in the DBs to go along with Poteet, Walton, Merritt, and Dylan Lewis from last year that likely are not going to change a scoreboard. So, yes, can you do that? My question would be, if you're going to invest in high school kids and develop them, perhaps you get the limited guys that without a doubt in the first 2 years they're going to not only contribute but make differences, and then spend your money, on transfer guys. Because here's the thing: if I'm going to spend X amount of money on a backup 21-year-old or 22-year-old, or wait for to spend the same money on an 18, 19-year-old that I don't even know is going to be on the roster in 2 years, I don't know if he's going to get homesick. I don't know if he's going to take to college. I think I'm going to take a chance on the kid that may be a backup for the same money, because at least I'm going to get something.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, but my thing is, again, going back to what you said earlier, it's the evaluation process. Like, if you don't know if these kids can play after a year and a half, then process them and get them out of here. Like, and replenish. Like there's no projects anymore. There's no room for that. If you're going to be a project, go down to a lower level. We'll see you in 2 years. If you pan out, we'll come get you.
Hey, Sean, when you evaluated
don't take projects.
Sean, when you evaluated that roster today before you jumped on, which is one of the things that you made a point of doing, how many of those guys are on the roster right now that you look at and say project? How many guys are? Is there a handful of those guys? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? What do you think the number is?
Oh, I think every single one of the defensive linemen they signed is a project. And when I say project, that's not a derogatory term. That's a term that means you're going to have to cook or simmer for 3 years to get technique, to get strength and conditioning, to get nutrition, to let your body mature. Every single one of the DBs is like that. Take a look at what was out there last night. And I'm not here ripping these kids. I swear I'm not. You have Caleb Beasley going out of bounds, guarding a guy out of bounds in the end zone. He's likely in line to be your number one safety if you don't bring someone in. You had Trey Poteet, Farouk. Farouk's too slow. Those are likely going to be your 2 leading guys when spring practice starts. Those are going to be the ones when they go to a team period. That you're not winning games with that. I'm sorry. No. You're just, as Mark says, I'm sorry you're not. If you have Jeremiah Thielander, again, I love you. These guys are a million times better athlete than I'll ever even dream of being. But they're just not. We're playing Texas, A&M, LSU.
He just can't cover. Like, he certainly can't cover anybody in this league. He's not an SEC linebacker. Like, I'm sorry. It's not being mean, but like I totally agree. You can't. There's no more projects in this era. Like, that's out the window. You got to be able to play. And like David Sanders, like, I'm sorry, I see that kid. I see top 10 pick in the draft. Look at his feet. You can't teach feet. He's going to be fine. Kids like that, if you want to sling like that at the high school level, we are capable of doing that at the University of Tennessee. We have the money, we have the brand to go get those kind of kids. We've won those recruiting battles. The one other thing I want to get to, and I'll get off. I know everybody wants to talk. Heupel's got to find a change-up, man. people are onto them. The reason why we ran for all those yards yesterday is because they let us run for all those yards. They played light boxes and this umbrella coverage not to allow explosives. And once they get in the 20s, they tighten it up and make us win in small windows. And it's like he's bringing in this defensive coordinator next year, and, you know, the tempo he plays at, his defenses are often gassed, and you're going to ask gassed kids to go out there and do calculus, because that's what Jim Knowles' defense is. I hope it works. Like, I'm not rooting against it. I promise I'm not. Everybody thinks I'm rooting against Tennessee. I'm not. I want this program to be great. And everybody thinks I'm rooting for Ohio State. No, I hope they get their brains beat in tonight. I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, I got to be a realist. There's too many delusional people in this fan base. I'm sorry. I got to call it out. Like, they think we're 2 plays away. No, we're not. Like, you can't watch what you watched the last month of the season. Vanderbilt could have scored 70 on us. Like, you can't watch what's out there on the field and think we're 2 plays away. That's just not reality.
Mark, thank you. But what Cinco, a change up with Josh Heupel? We have a lot to talk about. I want to talk with Watson Brown about that. The callers, stay right there. Watson Brown's going to join. It's a Wednesday with Watson. Great job by the callers here this hour. We heard a disparate amount of people. Look, I think we all want the same thing. Some are highly, highly concerned and ready to think that guy is in deep doo-doo. Some, like me, think that he could course correct here and be here for a while. But he needs course correct. I don't know if he's going to do it. Here's a question for you. Somebody mentioned it over on YouTube. Bringing in a guy like Sam Pittman for your offensive line coach. Hey, Sean, here's a question for you. If Sam Pittman called Josh Heupel today and said, hey, you know what? I really love my time in Knoxville, and I've just kind of decided I want to stay in coaching. His friends are saying he doesn't want to be in coaching, but I'm just saying hypothetically. You think Heupel would say, yeah, we have room for you, and take him and move his buddy out of there? Or do you think he would say no thanks to Sam Pittman? What do you think our guy would do, Sean?
All I can do is go on previous behavior, and I would say that's an impossibility.
There you go. And that's what's really interesting to me about this head coach. It's a really interesting thing regarding him, just to be fair to him. The Sam Pittman thing sounds great. If that's in fact, look, I'm not a throat cutter either. It's just not my personality. I wouldn't be comfortable doing it. And we're all different. And I don't know that this guy's a throat cutter. So we continue. Lane Kiffin, he would slice you up, slice you and dice you. The guy at Georgia would slice you and dice you. The guy at Alabama used to be there. I mean, he's the original Vegematic. I mean, he would literally slice you, dice you, and drink you for breakfast and not think twice about it. Our guy, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with family and friends. If you're going to do it with family and friends, you better tighten your game up, and you better learn from the last 16 months. Because a lot of you have brought some pretty good lessons to light here. Good job by the callers. We'll continue the conversation. And Watson Brown joins for a quick segment on the other side. Happy New Year to you after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law, fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the Volunteer State by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof, T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail. T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right. Drink T3 Vodka and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Distributed by Athens Distributing Company. Please drink responsibly. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk, to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
Got a problem tree looming over your home? Call ECR Total Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama's Easy approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Yee-haw! I'm I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today. Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Hey there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. The holiday season is here, and if your plans include unwrapping your new home, then take advantage of less competition and motivated sellers while others are out fighting over parking spots at the mall. Smart buyers are out snagging deals on great homes, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and as always, go Vols!
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. You know, last week, I had like a hungry heart, you know? And I got to thinking to myself, it was Christmas Eve, I'm hanging out with the famiglia, as we say in Italian. And you know, I thought, I'm missing a little famiglia here. Because no Wednesday with Watson Brown. A hole in my week. Welcome back to your famiglia, Watson Brown. You are famiglia.
I can't spell it.
Famiglia. Familia.
Okay. I got you.
Watson, have you ever been told that you're famiglia by anybody?
No.
Watson, this thing is nuts. Before we go to the portal and some of the craziness, Brian Hartman's got a question for you on last night's football game. I'll throw you a curveball here off the top. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay.
There was an instance last night where Illinois got the ball and they're driving for the game-winning field goal. And it was a 3rd down and 7 became 4th down and 1, and they got the first down on that play. Have you ever intentionally let a team score to get the ball back?
Or
it seems counterintuitive if you're a competitor,
Yeah.
but that's sort of what seems to be the best strategy and what teams do a lot now.
It's the newfangled way, Watson. Obviously, in your day, you wouldn't have done that, or they'd have, rung you up. But now coaches... Yeah, go ahead.
I can remember considering it a couple of times through my time.
Okay.
Never pulled the trigger to do it. I don't think Illinois would have scored. I think they would have known exactly what Tennessee's doing. Everybody's learned that now, and they're just going to go down there and fall down at the 1-yard line or something, and then run the clock out just like they did. Anyway, so I don't think Illinois would have fell for it.
You know, it's an interesting thing that Cinco. I got a little old school in me that says you kind of let it play out, and who knows what's going to happen. And then I got a little one bird on my shoulder saying I'm old school, another bird on my shoulder saying I have a defensive football team that couldn't stop Farragut High School last night on the field. So, no offense to Farragut. I'm just bringing you up because, you know, it's the first thing that came to my mind. Shout out to Admiral Farragut. Cinco, your thoughts on just that approach, letting them score.
Well, I understand the strategy. Look, Coach would know this better than me. I was never anything of an athlete, but high-level competitors want to win, man, and they don't want to throw up a white flag. There was a talk about how it would have been advantageous for Joaquim Dodson to step out of bounds instead of scoring, and we could have run it down and then perhaps won the game that way. Coach, you were an excellent return man. If you got the ball in your hands and you got grass in front of you, you or anyone you know is stepping out of bounds intentionally and not scoring.
I mean, I'm going to laugh at that one. there's a lot of things you teach your players, but I don't know that I was smart enough to think of that one as a coach, number one. And number two, when I saw green grass as a returner, man, it's heaven. I mean, you couldn't wait to get there.
There you go.
It's you don't, as a competitor, you don't think like that. But I would never have thought of that in millions of years. In two-a-days is when you do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We'd always have a Thursday before 10 days before the first game, let's say. And that afternoon practice, after we finished up the morning, that afternoon practice, which was the last two-a-day in those days, was all those things, every one of them possible, that we had a script of them. And it would take 2 hours to go through them all. I don't ever remember telling a guy on a return to step out of bounds. So that would have been past me. But I can tell you as a returner, no. Man, I see the green grass. You didn't get that a bunch of times. So when you got it, I love punt returns. I wasn't fond. I did both in college, and I wasn't fond and high school. And I wasn't fond of the kickoff. That was a little bit more of a manly thing, man. They're coming at you, and you're going at them full go. But I love the punt returns, and never was taught that, and I'm not sure even if I was taught it. What was it? 5 minutes to go when that happened? I know I wouldn't have thought of it. There's no way I would have thought of it myself.
God, you're sharp, dude. There was about 5 minutes and 25 seconds left. And, he fumbles that ball, right?
Well, when they scored, I thought that myself. I said, uh-oh.
They're in trouble.
And this team's been moving the ball, and they've been moving it slowly. I said, they may not get this thing back. They're going to have to get a stop. They've got to get a stop, and they couldn't get one. I thought that when he returned the kick. Immediately I thought that.
Another thing happened last night, Watson, I was wanting to ask you about, and I texted you about this, because one of the things we're doing today, I'm not beating up on those guys. I thought both teams respected the game and played really hard last night, and I think Tennessee played really hard. Yeah. And I thought it was a respectful showing of the game of college football. Guys made mistakes. It kind of is what it is, and an opportune penalty here or there. That's the sport of college football, what have you. But this high safety look and what teams are doing to Heupel, and I realized last night that your deep threat has opted out for the NFL draft, but you can't tell me that Rendarius Jackson can't run a deep route. You can't tell me that Mike Matthews can't run a deep route. You can't tell me the Smith kid they were substituting in and out with Rendarius. These are world-class athletes, these kids at this level. Why did they choose to turtle up last night? And is that high safety look, is that their kryptonite? Are we back to that?
It is, in it's one of the ways I've seen people play them all year. Not as much as they did last year, but like Vanderbilt basically lined a bunch up at the line and then ran out of there on them a lot. Mm-hmm. People are trying to not show what coverage they're in, no matter how they go about it. What they're doing to Tennessee is they're trying not to show the coverage they're in, because either with a run-pass option or changing the play by what they see at the line, they don't want Tennessee to be able to do that. And I think the one they're struggling with the most is I call it a Tampa 2 look. That's what it is. You've got a safety sitting halfway between the two deep safeties and the linebackers, and sitting right in the middle, and it's really Tampa 2, meaning it turns into a cover 3 nearly with a vertical player running with it. What I think Tennessee's got to do, you're going to attack it with a run because the numbers in the box are right. And so you're going to do that, and you got to get your yards when you do. But I think he's got to go back, guys, and attack it with the pass. Even though it's a pass look, they're saying run the ball. But you can attack that coverage with pass patterns. And I don't think he's doing I think he'll say to himself, we're not doing that enough. They're telling us to run the ball, so we run it and we'll throw it a little bit here and there, but they got to go after that coverage. You can go deep on that coverage. You can get vertical on the weak side of that. Most of the Tampa 2 looks, if you send, don't let me get technical here, but if let's say you've got 2 by 2, 2 receivers on one side, 2 on the other.
Yeah.
The field receiver, the inside field receiver, if he goes vertical, that Tampa 2 guy runs with that pretty much. That's where it turns into cover 3. The safeties are not on the hashes. They're going to be off the hashes toward the boundary a little bit, so it can turn into cover 3. And so it's a cover 2 in most everything, but if you send the receiver to the field, inside receiver to the field vertical, it turns into a cover 3. That middle safety is going to run with that guy. Now, to me, I always thought you attacked that on the weak side. You get that dude out of there and now run verticals on the weak side or high-low it to death. And what I mean by high-low it, one underneath and one over the top. Whether it's an inside route underneath over the top or it's an outside route underneath over the top, or run verticals with it, or send your back, and I'm getting a little complicated here, send your back, one back in the backfield, fake him weak, and flood that weak side of that coverage. I think you attack it like that, and I don't think he attacks it with a pass enough, whether it's some form of play action or it's just pure drop back. But you cannot let them. You can still get big plays into that coverage, and they're trying to get them with the run, and I think he'll go back and say, "Boys, we can't just sit here and just run the ball. We're not going to get enough big plays. We can 6 and 7 yard them to death, and they did that last night. They moved the ball well on the ground.
Yeah.
They didn't have it a lot because Illinois kept it the whole game, but when they got it, they moved it, but they didn't get the big plays, and he's going to have to. And they didn't stand that all night. They would give that look and then move to a 3 deep and move a safety down or whatever. People are disguising him, and he's going to have to be able to throw on reaction, and he's not going to be able, like in his early years, he could get the best play and check it or have a run-pass option and get it. He's going to have to be able to react to what he sees better, I think, than what he did this year, or for sure in that game.
He did, and look, we've talked about this before. Batters in baseball, you played that sport, get hot and cold. Kickers get hot and cold. Coaches can get hot and cold. You can have games where you got great games. You got games where you got great games. You manage it really well. Every button you push is great. And then some nights you can't get out of your own damn way. And he just has had some weird spots this year, Watson. I would think that he'd probably say he had a rough year this year managing this group.
Yeah, and he was very unlucky. I mean,
yeah, that's okay.
Stuff happened to them at absolute critical times. I mean, and that's not usual. I think back at Alabama with the play right before the half. I think about the play against Vanderbilt when they score right before the half and they have a penalty that called it back. That personally was kind of a weak penalty. I think they hit the quarterback late. You can go to nearly every one of those losses. How about the Georgia? Couple of things that happened in the Georgia game. He was just unlucky to me. You don't teach those things to happen at those critical times. I mean, it just happens sometimes, and he didn't get the luck of the draw this year, and I'll defend that with him. Coaches don't say that, but believe me, you get in on a Sunday and say, "Geez, dudes, we just were so unlucky here that this happened to us when it did," and little things happen that caused that, like the Alabama play, just simple. The way he tried to protect that, there was penetration on that play. He couldn't see great, and he floated it and didn't see the corner level in the flat. The coverage call for that was perfect. That's another thing that's luck of the draw. And he knew that was coming and played that coverage. No, that's just luck of the draw coverage call, and into the play you call, Tony. It was a perfect defensive coverage call for the play Tennessee had called. So, I mean, it happens. Sometimes you make bad calls too. I'm not saying that's all just luck. There are times you just flat make a bad call. That was a bad call by Tennessee into that coverage. That was a bad call. But the penetration of the defensive guy caused the quarterback to let it go and not see the corner, and it cost them the game. So there were just plays like that this year that I haven't seen them run into as much. Everybody has some.
Yeah.
But Tennessee had their share, and they seem to always, Tony, come at a very critical time.
Well, this particular group this year, and I don't know, and Sean and Brian, what's y'all's thoughts on this? A microcosm of that last night is, Watson, you're trying to get off the field. And in our post-game, we're on for 4.5 hours last night, our Garza Law post-game show, and we had more than one caller say, it's just pretty emblematic of who we've been. As Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats, online at simpsonsmeats.com. That offside penalty that Tennessee committed that gave them a 4th and a half a foot there, or whatever that was.
Again, critical play.
You know what that is? That's losing football. That's a team that all year long, you either make a winning play or you make a losing play, and these guys on both sides of the ball found the way to make the losing play. And I'm not sure if you can, because one of the things I'm trying to do today is I'm asking our listeners, what are lessons you want our head coach to learn? One of the ones you said that I think is a good one that we can kind of park on is, just because somebody plays that safety, that Tampa 2 high safety look that Monty Kiffin brought into the NFL, and they're copying it. Georgia was the first team to do this on Heupel. Really, the defensive coordinator, whose name escapes me, who was at Tulsa when he was at Central Florida, was really the first one to show it to him, and it stifled his defense. Then Watson says, you still got to go downfield. We didn't throw the ball downfield, Watson, one time last night. And your point is, just because somebody shows it to you, it's not checkmate. You got to throw the ball at them. You still got to make them make plays. That's your point, yes?
Yes, you got to keep attacking. You can't just turn it into the game they want it to be. Everybody that plays Tennessee wants to keep the ball and not let them have very many plays. That is the ultimate goal. The fewer plays Tennessee has the ball, the better chance we got to win, and everybody plays them that way.
Yes.
And if you can move the ball and keep it, it's a great way to play. Now, if you can't, look out, you may get 100 scored on you. So they play a little conservative. They run, throw, play action here, but you make those third downs. Everybody tries to get to third and stay within the chains. Yeah. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
At most 3rd and 4. And stay within the chains and keep the ball. I played everybody that was much better than me that way, Tony.
Yep.
If I went in to play somebody that was much better than me, I wanted to shorten the game. I wanted to shorten the game and get in the fourth quarter with a chance to win. And so that's what they're doing to Tennessee, and they've got to get better on defense. You can't when people are playing you that way and you're not real good on defense, you're in trouble. And I think that was a big part of what happened to Tennessee all year long. Is they were always in the past, they were the ones with the leads, and this year the games were tied or they were slightly behind or whatever, and they weren't getting the ball a lot. They had 3 series in the first half last night. That's not Tennessee style. That's not the way that Josh wants to play. And Illinois did a good job, and I agree with you. I credit to both coaches and the players. There's good people, good young kids on these two teams because they both played their hearts out. And Tennessee and both were disappointed and wanted to be better than they were. And that's the thing people are going to have to do dealing with these bowl games. But those two teams went in there to win that game last night, and I've seen a bunch of bowl games this year that was not the case. And both teams had a bunch of players not playing, a bunch, but yet they still went in there with attitude and representing their school and proud to do it. And I enjoyed watching the game.
Hey, Watson, and I'm glad you say that because I led the show last night with that. I led last night's show, kind of disturbed a little bit that we lost the game. Didn't like some of the things that happened. But I led the show last night in a spirit of gratitude that both teams respected that game. The kid Tennessee chased in the portal last year that stayed there and apparently made half the money in order to stay there is a really good competitor. I walked out of there really appreciative of him. I thought Joey competed and, gave Tennessee everything he had this year. I think they could probably find somebody better than him in the portal. Maybe we'll see. But at any rate.
Well, thank goodness Tennessee had him.
Hey, you got no chance
without him. I'm telling you that. You can say what you want to say, but thank goodness Tennessee had him.
You're going 6-6 without him with this year's defense.
And he's a class act, and he's a great kid, and he plays his panty off every time he goes out there.
No question.
And man, do I appreciate that, and as a fan, I appreciate that.
Here's my question for you, because now we're getting to the portal. And I texted you some of this, and I know you talk to people as well. And you told us this is going to get really expensive, and it's way beyond out of control. Like, it's unbelievable. I used to think it was obscene when coaches were making $3 and $4 and $5 million a year. Watson, the kid that's at Cincinnati, LSU has jumped into the Derby for him. I had an agent that communicates with us. I keep his name out of it, but he doesn't have a client in the quarterback deal. But he's watching, and there are no secrets in this, okay? He said that the word is that Lane Kiffin, because Texas Tech is where this kid's going to go. He's really, the Sorsby kid is his name. Brandon Sorsby. He's Tennessee's, if they had a top choice and they could click their heels together, he's who they would get. But he's way out of their price range right now, unless they can go to the Haslams. And the Haslams give him $7 million and, whatever. I'm just not sure how wise it is to spend that kind of money on any one quarterback. LSU's going to spend $6 million on him. If you're Tennessee, how do you identify a cheaper option? And would you be better off with a cheaper option and spend your money on your defense and your other needs? If it's your dime and your dance floor, or do you put your focus on your offense and just go, hey, we're going to put together a super team and go outscore you on offense? I'm going to get this Sorsby guy. What would you do if you were Tennessee, Watson?
Well, I always was taught, even without this portal thing, how do you go about building a team? And I was always taught from first guy that I worked for, both were Alabama guys. First one was Steve Sloan, and the second one was Pat Dye. And so I came up through the Alabama system. And I was always taught by those guys, first thing you do is find your quarterback and build around that. Second thing you do is fix your defense, whatever you need to do to fix your defense. Third thing that you need to do is then fix your offense. And the fourth thing you need to do that people that weren't doing, that they believed in big time, was you got to have a punter, a kicker, a snapper, and a returner. Now, that was the way I was taught. And so if that's still the case, you've got to make sure you go get a quarterback. I think what these people are doing wrong on these quarterbacks, to me, Tony, and again, I'm looking now. I'm not out here doing it, so it's easier for me to say these things. Yep. And it's just my opinion.
Yep.
So don't make it life and death here or right or wrong. But I think what they're doing is they spend money just because somebody else is. It's still like recruit. If it's the guy you really want, if you really think he is going to be the savior for you, then go spend the money on him. But if he's not, don't. And I don't think I'd spend that much money on the young man from Cincinnati. I think there's going to be a bunch of them out there, and I'd go study it hard. I wouldn't just be doing this 5-star jump. I would do the one I like for me. And it might be one that's the 10th or 11th or 12th guy down, and I can spend less money, but I love him. This is the guy I want. I think people are going too much at, LSU's going to pay this because Texas Tech is paying this. I think that's crazy. So make sure it's who you want, and if it's who you want, go spend the money. But Tennessee has got a lot to do, in my opinion. And all the things I just went through they're going to need to look at all those pieces. I don't see anything that's right, and they've got it in place. They've got to fix their defense. They've got to go find the next quarterback unless he's there now. And they've got things to fix on offense. There's no doubt about that. Guys, they've got to become better pass protectors. However you do it, the ones you got have got to get better, or you go get some more.
How about that, Sean?
You've got to be able to drop back and throw the football in today's world, and that's one of the things that Tennessee struggles the most with. When it's pure drop back pass, they struggle in protection, and they've got to get better at that. And the quarterback has got to get rid of the ball quicker in the drop back game. I think their quarterbacks get rid of the ball and their RPOs quick. But in the pure drop back game, I think they hold the ball too long. And I thought that about Nico. I felt it a little bit in Aguilar. They've got to get rid of the football quicker. So Tennessee's got a lot to do, and only Josh can put together how you're going to spend the money to me. Yeah, you got general managers and that, but Josh is the one that's got to say, we go after this first, then this, then this, then this. They've had a great freshman class, and they've really got to do a great job in the portal in those critical pieces, in my opinion.
Sean Sinclair, your thoughts on what Watson Brown just said? And he basically said in one sense, sure, fix your defense, but if that's a quarterback you want, go spend the money on him. But at the same token, I got so many needs. And I think he's right. Everybody talks about how Tennessee has the same offensive line coming back next year. That can be good or that can be bad. Yeah. It reminds me of when I was in college and I was all young and excited. And I told a friend of mine's father who came to visit, the late, great Kelly Gilbert, Paul Gilbert's father. I said, Mr. Gilbert, I said, man, we bring everybody back on our basketball team. And he said, yeah, Tony, and that's a problem. And I looked at him and I thought, well, geez. Sean Sinclair, that could be a problem. Which, Cinco, your thoughts on Watson Brown laying it down today?
Well, obviously excellent as always, but I don't have a comment on that. I have a question for you, Coach. Last night, a caller asked a question, and it's bugged me all night long and all morning. His question was, can you name a college head coach that was the chief play caller on offense or defense that's won a national championship? Now, there may not be a correlation between you do it or you don't, but what we were talking about is the fact that when you were shouldering that much responsibility, what part of the game management, player management, strategy, et cetera, gets cheated? And I couldn't come up with one.
Oh, man, great question. Great question. We could talk about that for hours. I was one of those that all but twice in my career always called the plays as a head coach. 32 years and 30 of them I called the plays. I look back on it, Sean, and I don't know that I could do it in today's world. Back when I was younger as a head coach, you just didn't have as much to do, and you can be in the room with the offensive coaches and making the plan, and you're sitting there and you're going through everything with them, and so you're ready to call the plays. But if you're not in the room and you're coming in and out, and they're putting the plan together, it's a lot harder to call the plays when you're not right in the middle of it all the time. So I'm not sure you can anymore. I think it's harder and harder to do that. The NFL guys do it, a lot of them. There's been a bunch of Super Bowls won with the head coach calling one side of the ball or the other. But college football has gotten so deep now with so many things that you have to do. I'm not sure it's best that you do that anymore. And I think the hardest thing for a head coach to do, Sean, is to go hire a guy really good at what he does, at what the head coach does well. For some reason, you just won't go hire that guy. But I think that's where they got to drop their ego and go get a guy and give it to him and let him do it, give him a philosophy and let him go. and I sure never wanted to do that. I did not want to do that. The two people that called plays for me one year, one was Steve Sloan in my last year at Vanderbilt, and the other one was Pat Sullivan 1 year at UAB. That's the only two people that I ever let call the plays. So I just think these head coaches believe in themselves so much they think nobody's better than them at doing it. But I'm not sure you can do it anymore. I think it's really hard. Stay involved, but not be the play caller.
Watson, you know how hard that would be for a Josh Heupel. You just mentioned that. That'd be
It would have been for me. It was for me.
It's like you guys taking your thumb and putting it on a bandsaw and just saying "see you later," right? I mean, it's hard, man. It's
you
gonna
believe
be so hard to let it go.
You're so confident, Tony. You're so confident in what you do.
Yeah.
I always thought there's nobody better than me at calling plays.
There you go.
Well, there was. I'm sure there was. There were many of them, but I just believe that. And when you feel that way, man, and your life's on the line, that your family's at stake to win games, and you think you're the best at what you do, it's hard to go get somebody else and let them do that. And but I think these head coaches, if I was doing it again, I'd have to find a way to drop my ego or drop my confidence and believe in somebody else and go find somebody I do believe in and let them do it. And it was so hard for me not to want to second-guess Steve Sloan in my last year at Vanderbilt. Because when you're not the one calling the plays, man, you're sitting there saying, oh, I'm not sure I would have done that. And you've just got to get past that, I think, in today's world, guys.
Jimbo Fisher, by the way, is the answer to that trivia question. But the truth is, it seems like, because look, the responsibility of being a head coach these days, is there a position in sports that's changed more than a college head coach in the last few years?
No.
I mean, you better be able to manage a budget. You better be able to manage egos.
And the college head football coach more than basketball
college
or
head football
baseball.
It's crazy.
It's the head football coach.
I mean, right now, if you're at Tennessee, you're having exit meetings and you're telling kids like Chuck Noll used to, good luck to you. Time for you to get on with your life's work. You're not going to finish here. We're taking your scholarship and you're going into the transfer portal. It's happening here, there, and everywhere. It's terrible, Watson, but that's what's going on.
Yeah, and it's not just that, Tony. It's the kids telling you, I want this
and I want out. That's exactly right.
There's so many different angles to all of this.
Yes.
And so you're sitting there saying, you're having to make some pretty quick decisions, not right on the spot there, but he walks out, you got to go into your people and say, this is what he's asked for.
Yeah.
Are we willing to give him this, or do we just go get somebody else? I mean, there's so much. There's so many things. I mean, in today's world now, a guy catches 3 touchdown passes, and he wants to walk in on Sunday, and I need a raise. I mean, this kind of stuff is going on until they get it under control, and the money has got to be under control. But, guys, more to me is the transfer portal. We cannot let these kids transfer every year. They've got to get this under control.
Well, they won't.
If they don't do that, look out. It's just going to be 60 new players every year, and everybody's doing the same thing. The NFL don't do that, guys. The NFL don't do that. You don't get to leave till you're a free agent. You stay through your contract.
Yes.
So I think the portal is a bigger issue than even the money, but they both have changed the game. And a lot of people think to the good. There's more people watching it. I don't think that's the reason why. I think the reason why is the playoffs.
Hey, Watson,
I think the playoffs and everybody fighting to get in those playoffs late in the year, and it's just created a lot more interest. I don't think it's the money or the portal myself.
Kelly Holcomb brought up to me, he said, how when they're paying these guys through these NIL deals, are they allowing them to opt out of bowl games? Like, what? You're not honoring your deal. I said, Kelly, we got ourselves in a spot in college football where those NIL contracts aren't pay for play. They're marketing agreements. That's what fans don't understand. You can't even as a coach go to a kid and go, hey, we're paying you this and we expect this. Nuh-uh. You're paying them marketing agreements. literal.
Yes.
It's a
You're
total
seeing commercials
joke.
with them on it.
Yeah,
we're watching playoff games, and
it's a joke.
And Arch Manning is doing commercials.
Yeah, it's a joke.
You're dead right, Tony.
But
a lot of this now is not even in control of the university.
Yeah, it's a joke. But
it really is. And you got a guy like what's his name, Cody Campbell, the guy that played the offensive line for Mike Leach at Texas Tech, that's throwing all that money to all their sports. That is going through the university, but that's not what you're talking about. That's a complete different thing.
And Watson, on the way out tonight, we've got a game. We've got Miami and Ohio State. I bet a guy yesterday straight up because he was shooting. He's an Ohio State fan. He annoys me. He's a great family man. He brought me a funny gag Christmas gift of some dude wipes. I think he's trying to tell me something. And a back scratcher. I think this guy's really trying to tell me something. At any rate, I bet him $50. I didn't want any points tonight. I think Miami beats Ohio State tonight with their defensive line and their defense, and they control the game tonight. Am I crazy for thinking that, Watson?
I'm not with you on that one. I think it's going to be a great game, but Ohio State is healthy for the first time in a while. Tailbacks are back, receivers healthy. This is a much more talented offense than A&M. I told you all year, A&M had not played anybody. They just didn't play any of the good teams. They had the schedule. If Tennessee had their schedule, it would have been a different world for Tennessee. And A&M's a good team, a very good team, but they're not national championship caliber. And I think Ohio State's a good bit better than A&M. So I'm going to go against you on this one. We'll see what happens.
Hey, Watson, my friends at Simpson's Meats, they raise and source their meat on farms, on pasture, on purpose since 1888. Now, when I say to the living listener, they give Simpson's Meats, and they make it their New Year's resolution to treat themselves in 2026, and they go try a steak. The steaks there, the burgers, the sausages, the roast, the chicken. They were asking me, when you come to town, they want to meet you. Sam was telling me the other day, Sam Bruce, in fact, the day I was there, a guy walked right in the door a couple weeks back, and he looked right at him and said, "I'm here because Watson Brown sent me."
That's neat.
Watson,
that's neat. But we feel good about it, don't we, Tony? Because
Watson,
it's what they sell is fantastic.
Goal!
So it's easy for us to sell them because it's true. And I tell people all the time, you go once, you eat one steak from there, you going back. You cannot not go back. And that's all I say to people. Just go try it one time. Just go give it a shot and see if you don't go right back. You'll spend the money to go back.
Whether it's and Stu Manitarian, I saw him in there, Stu Manitarian Oaks, Cast of Thousands. I saw Buddy Cruz in there one day. Listen, whether it's steaks or burgers or sausages or roast or chicken, variety of local offerings right there at their butcher shop. They've got also the milk, the honey, the jams, the eggs, and so much more. Simpson's Meats, ladies and gentlemen. Visit their store, West Knoxville off Lovell Road, and check them out today. Watson Brown, I love you. I appreciate you. Who you like in the other playoff games tomorrow? My son's at the Rose Bowl. Indiana.
I think the big upset's going to be Alabama's going to beat Indiana.
Oh, better get Mocco. Wow.
I don't know. Sounds like me. I'm usually the one that takes I just got a good feeling Alabama is going to be the relaxed bunch. They're getting to pay with the house money right now because everybody thinks they have no shot or they're this or that. And I'm telling you, losing the guy Indiana lost, that pass rusher, I think is going to show. And a great game because Indiana's very good. But I just think Alabama is going to play their best game of the year. And I think they're going to win the game. I think Texas Tech's going to beat Oregon.
Okay.
I think Texas Tech is the most underrated team in this deal. I think they're very good, and I think they're going to beat Oregon, and who am I missing? What's the last one? Georgia and Ole Miss. I don't think Ole Miss can beat Georgia.
No, they got no chance. They're going to get run out. By the way, Georgia's got a chance to win it all, Watson, I believe.
So that's my pick.
Yeah.
They're playing the best of anybody coming in.
Yes.
Other than Indiana, and Ohio State. Just Ohio State couldn't move the ball much, and they were all injured. They just weren't as good.
No.
I think they're going to be a lot better on offense, and their defense is bona fide now. Ohio State can play defense with anybody.
The listener, Martin, his name is Martin Luther King. It's what it says on his driver's license. Is going to owe me $50 tonight. That's all I know.
So you're taking the Canes.
The Canes with 0 points. Bino says, how many points he give you? I said, Bino, when I make a bet with a man, I don't need points. I'm not like you. When I shoot my mouth off, I go all in.
I'm going to pull for you, Tay, but I'm not sure you got the right side of this one, buddy.
Watson Brown, thank you, babe. I love you.
Love you guys. It's always an honor.
Watson Brown's the right side. Simpsons Meats is the right side. Getting back to the phones in the prelude to the geophysical year of the common caller. It's 2026, ladies and gentlemen. We've about reached that spot. This is wild. Tonight's going to be wild. Cinco, who you like in that playoff game? Think about it, you and Brian. And I'll ask you guys as we continue, because it's fun. We're playing a playoff game on New Year's Eve, and I'll be watching my Flyers and the Calgary Flames tonight. I always think back to the old Atlanta Flames. If you ever see any of Atlanta Flame garb, I want one of those. Greatest emblem maybe in sports, the old Atlanta Flame emblem. As we continue with more after this. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company-paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
The season of giving reminds us of what truly matters, community and connection. Hi there, Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. As the year closes, I wanted to take a moment to sincerely thank you, my Basilio family clients. Thank you for trusting me with your most important decisions. Whether it was finding your first home or successfully closing a chapter, your trust means everything. I look forward to new and continued relationships through the new year, and feel free to reach out to me at 865-694-5904 or nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and of course, go Vols!
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey Tony, good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the .1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Needed to be back with you, 865-200-5402. I just, Cinco's got one for you. I got one for you. I want to reset the board, too, on the quarterbacks because it's going to be interesting. In fact, let's do the quarterback reset. I shared some of this last night, and we're getting this in drips and drabs, but I've got somebody helping me, and this is kind of where we are. First of all, I was asked last night, where are the Vols in budget? And the truth is, the Vols in budget are somewhere in the mix and in the hunt, but they're not at the very top. The top schools are Ohio State and the Texas schools. So, Tennessee did have the jump early on in NIL, and they were, number one and kind of setting the stage. I guess A&M was out there at first as well with Jimbo Fisher. I would love to know how much money Ohio State blew through between his payout and that first class they paid, and they got so little return out of that. And then we're going to do a third hour, so at least a portion of it till I need to go take a nap. Because I didn't sleep a lot, not that you care, and I'm not. It's not a sponsored third hour, So it's a labor of love. You want to leave a tip, leave a tip. I'd appreciate it. But there's a misnomer out there. Tennessee's like number 2 in budget. They're nowhere near number 2. They're in the top 15 somewhere. But the real players in the sport have much deeper pockets. And the real players are Texas Tech, Texas, Texas A&M, SMU. When they choose to get involved, you look at it, all of a sudden they're on the map. SMU spending a lot of money. Ohio State and the Texas schools are leading the pack. Now, the Vols are about $5 million, somewhere like that, behind Georgia. Tennessee is comparable to what Alabama has in terms of what they have on hand. The intel we have on this quarterback deal, and again, Sorsby's Tennessee's number one choice, but apparently he's everybody's number one choice. And we had Eric Waddell in here last night, who's a Cincinnati fan growing up and loves the Bearcats and goes and sees me. He goes and sees the Bearcats and the Vols, and he makes it work. And he went here to school, but his grandfather played ball up there at Cincinnati. He's a Cincinnati guy through and through. And he's also a Tennessee fan. So he was perfect to have on here last night. And Matt asked him, because I didn't have the sense to ask him. Matt said, tell me about the Sorsby guy. And Ewad said, well, I mean, he's good. Is he $5 or $6 million good? No. And then Watson Brown said, look, to me, I was always taught that it begins at your quarterback. And so Watson Brown, he kind of pulled me back in the boat where if you're Tennessee, go spend $7 million on the guy if that's what you want to do. LSU is in the midst of, and Sean, I want your thoughts on this because we talked about this off the air. And then we're going to go to the phone. So everybody just kind of hang there. But I'm going to get you over to William Pattison in the playbook. Those of you enjoying us on Fan Run Radio, great event yesterday. Thank you for having me out. It was terrific seeing and meeting people and being there. Many happy returns. Let's do it again. 1st and 10, let's do it again. LSU has entered this Sorsby Derby, but they've also entered the Levitt Derby. They are willing to pay $6 million to somebody. Now, the belief was that Levitt's going to end up at Oregon, who they're loaded too. I didn't throw Oregon in there in the top players because they're not in our footprint. I was talking about the top players in our Oregon's one of the big spenders in the sport as well. I mean, let's get wow. LSU is getting ready to either get Sorsby or Levitt. That's their goal. But Levitt could go to Oregon if Moore goes to the draft, which would mean that Sorsby could go to LSU, which would mean that Texas Tech would then be in the mix and in the hunt, and they would take that Mestemaker guy right away from Oklahoma State. But there's also a scenario where the chips could fall where the Vols could land Levitt. But what they need is they need Oregon and LSU to kind of be full. They need them to jump the gun this weekend. Could happen. Sean will tell you that these schools, when the time comes, the heavyweights, call a kid, call an agent. Back in the day, call the handler, and they said, look, and I'm talking about pre-NIL now, this is our offer. You either get in the boat right now or the boat's leaving the shore. That could happen this weekend. And then at the end of all that, Tennessee could end up with a Levitt at the end of this. Now, one of the things I want to ask Sean is, what about this Levitt guy? Because Russell W. Smith points out to me a couple nights ago on the phone, Tony, this guy's got a terrible injury. He's not just hurt. He's really injured. So we'll talk about that. In the meantime, I want to turn you over Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Happy New Year to my man William Pattison. Hey, William, I love you. Here we go.
5.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
So Happy New Year to William Pattison. Sean, if the Vols end up with Levitt at the end of it all, are you interested in him? Because, again, it looks like LSU or Texas Tech could pay that guy $5-6 million. What do you think of Levitt, Cinco?
Well, he's certainly a playmaker. We saw that a couple years ago in the playoff, or last year, I guess, in the playoff. But he has and I'm a dentist. I'm not a physician. But just in my casual reading of this, he has what's called a Liz Frank injury to his midfoot.
Yep.
And this kid is a kid that part of his ability is scrambling around, Doug Flutie-like. I mean, he is Johnny Manziel-like. He's not that good, but he's as good as Manziel, but he's like that. Meaning it's kind of helter-skelter, and he can throw on the run. But he is extremely dynamic with his running, cutting, explosive, etc. Well, this problem with this injury is it's a midfoot injury involving the bones and or the ligaments. Again, I'm not an orthopede, so just kind of bear with me. But the problem is that this injury has taken down a lot of great professional athletes. Some have come back, some haven't. Notable, my Chiefs, Hollywood Brown out of Oklahoma. Missed the combine, missed the season. And he's come back and been okay. Guys like Julio Jones, great player. After that, he was fine. But some guys like Santonio Holmes, Cedric Benson, Ronnie Brown, McFadden, Ted Kent, all incredible players. Their careers decline quickly. It's usually a 6-month rehab, and then, is he getting his foot stepped on? Is he torquing it on the turf, etc.? It seems like kind of a gamble to me.
Yeah, I spend that kind of money.
And again, I'm not an orthopedic surgeon.
No.
Forgive me.
Russell said to me, he said, that is a major, major gamble. There are no guarantees. It's not like guy's got an ACL tear, but he'll be back next year, and that's the science, and we know the science. This is a thing where some people recover, Sean, and some people don't.
Exactly, and it takes a year. But the point being is that his price point, or someone like him, that's an entire secondary. That's a secondary and a linebacker. And then not only that is, you got $7 million plus tied up in a quarterback room.
Yes.
I just don't know if he's worth the gamble. If you got now, he's way more dynamic than Josh Hoover or the Rocco Beck kid. But those guys are, to my perspective, they're similar type passers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need a guy that can move around. But I don't know in the SEC, if you take a look at what Mateer got taken out.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these other guys, they just don't survive this gauntlet. Then you go to a 9-game schedule. I don't know. I don't know that I'm not advocating against him, but boy, that's a big gamble on a very serious foot injury to a kid that uses his feet. And that's what he is. That's what makes him special.
I find all this extremely interesting. Now, it's madness. I wouldn't want to be in the middle of it. I wouldn't want fans up my ass when it doesn't work well, which is what's going to happen at some of these places. Some of these teams are going to win this weekend in this portal in the next 2 weeks. Some are going to strike out. Some are going to look like they won and they struck out. Some are going to look like they struck out and they really won. I will remind you that Trinidad Chambliss, because one of our contributors shared with me off the air, who wishes to remain nameless, that Trinidad Chambliss was, before he enrolled at Ole Miss, as Matt pointed out, in the summer. You guys know where he was going to go to school? Cinco, have you seen this? because it is the greatest thing ever. Show you how random this crap is. Anybody, I'll give Brian Hartman a guess here, Brian. I'll help you out. It is a school, Bri, that I have followed down through the years with a horrendous. He was going to go to Temple. Now, you tell me what that is when you were going to go to Temple, which is literally like, where's Steve Morse and where are the Dixie Dregs when you need them? Because that's the dregs of society. Okay? He was going to go to Temple, but instead he is a star quarterback now in the sport. One of the great stories, who led Ole Miss to the playoffs. Now, Sean, is it better to be lucky than good in the portal? Did anybody have any idea what Trinidad Chambliss was?
He started out at Butch Jones's alma mater.
Yes.
We should point that out.
Yes. Yes. So let's go to the phones. When it comes to Tennessee, they could end up with the guy with a Liz Frank injury and way overpay him. They could end up with Z-Man wrote a piece today that I featured on the blog because I wanted to turn the page. They could end up with East Carolina's quarterback. They could do a myriad of things. Vanderbilt is struggling right now, down 7-3 with Iowa. Iowa has pulled Vandy into their Iowa has pulled Vandy into their nonsense today. Bri, who wins this game at the end of it? What do you think?
I think somehow Vandy is going to find a way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And hopefully by saying that, I'll speak it into non-existence.
Well, I mean, Clone and I were talking. Clone said, I don't understand the line in that game. And, I've just... And the sharp money was all over Iowa today. And it's interesting how those cats kind of know what they're doing. You can find edges in these bowl games, and if you can, more power to you. I'm telling you right now, God, Vandy just dropped a touchdown pass. I'm telling you right now, I'm getting all over Miami tonight, Miami. Keith Whitley. And then we'll go to the phones. You make a $20 bet, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. The promo code and your phrase that pays is TN Tony. 200 leagues, they're live always. I'm going to ring in the new year with a money line parlay. I'm going to take one dog and one. I haven't looked at the Flyers, but I'm playing the Flyers tonight to win in Calgary. Just because. 200 leagues, live always, numerous bet types. They've got props, they've got options. You can mix, you can match. And everybody gets treated like a VIP at VIP play. It's pretty much that simple. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in our great state of Tennessee to place a bet. And we're going to go back to our busy phones where we make it happen with you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. And somebody's saying that Austin Price has said many times that GMAC's issue is a size. Listen, I don't speak for my health. They have been concerned. I wrote it today in the blog. I'm going to say it on here. They've been concerned about his inability to gain weight. Sean, you've seen it in your training days. Some guys have frames that you cannot add weight to. Fans don't want to understand that. They don't believe that. Now, Tyler Bray stayed on an NFL roster, I don't know how, for like 10 years on various NFL rosters. And literally, if Tyler Bray turned sideways, he could be mistaken for a light pole. A broom, literally a broomstick. Some guys, Sean, it's just trouble. They just have trouble gaining weight. Would you speak on that, please?
They do. We talked about that before, but you know what? So, and some kids don't try as hard as they're supposed to.
Well, I don't know if that's the case with him. I think he.
I'm not implicating him as that's the case. It is really hard for me to understand how you are essentially the same weight a year into a nutrition and weightlifting program, because he came in, I believe, during bowl practice last year, and from what I hear, the needle hasn't changed much at all.
No, he hasn't gained any weight.
That doesn't make sense.
People got very angry with me several weeks ago.
Physiology is if you're in a caloric surplus,
yes,
something has to change.
Maybe not.
Does that speak to the strength and conditioning going on over there?
I don't know,
because don't they lift?
Yeah, but you can't. One guy is not a sample size.
But you know what?
If everyone else is changing and you're not, that's not the system.
A couple of our young guys were so skinny on defense. I thought they had GMAC out there at linebacker last night. Just kidding.
Yeah, well, I think that's how they were recruited.
Yeah, you said it last night. People want to pick on this strength and conditioning coach. He's doing exactly what that head coach wants him to do. Don't fool yourself.
Absolutely.
Just like we had a guy opening up, we had a false open to the show today on YouTube, and a guy was in there ripping Joey Halsley for his play calling last night. I got news for you, genius. Joey Halsley's next play that he calls here will be his first. Okay? Let's get real on this side of the.
And for that matter, Golish didn't call plays either.
No, Golish didn't call plays.
All this talk about him losing. I mean, he may have added an element of hard assery to the program.
Hard, yeah, he was. Yeah, that's
but that cat wasn't calling any plays.
No. Cinco's. We're with the band with the Jokers, and we're laying it down right now, man. I mean, if you want to blame Halsley, and, the guy makes like $1.3 million, basically to be Josh Heupel's whipping boy in the press among the fans. Because there's media people that act like he's the offensive coordinator. He ain't coordinating anything. That's Josh Heupel's offense. Josh Heupel's calling the plays. Josh Heupel's so distracted with calling the plays that he didn't even take a timeout last night when the other team's on defense. You know why? He's worried about what they're going to do on offense. He went into the halftime last night, and no offense, with 3 timeouts. What are you, Dean Smith? Dean Smith back in the day, I used to think that he had like a deal with one of their boosters on the side. Hey, man, if you all the timeouts you accrue for the year, we'll get, I'll give you whatever for them. Go. Let's go back to the phones. Cinco, you said there's been some chatter about our kicker.
Yeah, this is just bear with me here. Okay. This was from Manute Vol over on VolQuest.
Manute Vol.
He chimes in and said Manute Vol. He said he had heard that Max Gilbert, of course, tried to enter the transfer portal this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Problem was he was wide right, didn't get in. Okay. Okay, that's why I mean.
We gotta laugh.
It's funny.
We gotta laugh.
Too soon.
No, it's not too soon. Laugh. We gotta have some fun with the kid, man. Let's get our next. We gotta laugh a little.
I didn't like that. I gotta tell you what though. Mm-hmm. Now that we're in the third hour, his body language after he missed that, frankly, pissed me off.
Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
How are my friends compatriots doing today?
Hey, W. Lynn, welcome in.
Well, Happy New Year, and I just want to tell you, Tony, that your show means a lot to me. And I want to thank you, Brian Hartman, and Laura. Those two are unsung heroes.
Yep.
And I've lived here all my life. I listened to the first talk show that Mike Keith did.
Wow.
And yours is like the greatest ever. It helped me get through the death of my wife in 2013. I listened for weeks and didn't call. It helped me get through some sickness I had a few years ago. So, to you, all the guests, the callers, it's the Tony Basilio family. Like that guy said, he can't believe it. I don't know anywhere in America where something's going on like what you do. So, thank you, and we do have to support the sponsors. I want to make that clear to everybody.
Yep.
But now moving to the football team, we need Jimmy's, Joe's, Bob's, Frank's, Tim, Mike's, Johnny's. We need a lot, guys. And the USA Today a few weeks ago, and I thought I saved it, but I can't find it. You can pull it up online, I'm sure. It had a whole page list of what we call, I guess, general managers for all the Division 1A teams. And our guy was getting 5 times less money than Alabama's, Ohio State, Georgia's. Is that going to be corrected? Because like Sean said, the people controlling this money and keeping up with who we're going after, that's got to be a pretty important, highly paid job. And why is ours not getting much money, I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, our guy was brought here from Billy High, was brought here from North Carolina.
Yeah.
But here's what I understand's going on. Danny White has somebody that's interfaced now with Billy High, and they're kind of watching them. And Danny White's got a guy that has input in the middle of the thing. And
would this be a lieutenant?
Yes, it's one of his lieutenants.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. The real GM of these teams is the head coach.
Yeah.
If you think for 1 second, WLN, now think about this, right? The GM over there of North Carolina is a guy that came out of the NFL ranks. His name is, it's not the Mayock guy, it's Lombardi. If you think for a second that Lombardi's telling the hoodie who to add to his roster, now he might make a suggestion, and they might have a list, but ultimately it's the head coach, or in the case now, it's going to be the head coach and the defensive coordinator. The head coach is going to decide who gets added on offense, and the defensive coordinator is going to decide who gets added on defense. The GM, unless... Now, somebody made a great point last night. Somebody's going to come up, W. Lynn, one of these kids is going to come up with a Moneyball type system in college football, but it's not there yet.
Yeah.
Not there.
Yeah, the GMs at least got to figure out how the money's allocated and where it comes from and how to get it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the head coach has time for that.
No, the head coach better get online with that, because that's another thing that goes on these days. Look, you got to court the big money people when you're a head coach these days.
Barnes, you got to do that.
Hey, Rick Barnes last year when he wanted Nate Ament was seen at the baseball game openly courting the Haslams, and that's where that money came from for Nate Ament last year, if you'll remember that.
But in football, you're talking about so many people. Did you say there's going to be 3,500 people in the portal?
Yes.
I mean, good grief.
Yeah, there were 3,300 people yesterday. That number is just going to swell as these teams get eliminated from the playoffs. By Friday, the number's going to be astronomical in the portal.
You know what Butch Jones would say?
What's that?
Population to the portal.
Yeah, they're going to populate the portal, Bri.
By the way, his quarterback entered the portal. I wonder what.
He's a nice player. I like that kid. He's a nice player. I was surprised he stayed around there as long as he did, Bri.
Yeah, to play for Butch for 3 years. Do you think maybe Tennessee should get involved?
He saved Butchie Boy's job.
Could he save Heupel's job?
I don't think I want the funk of Butchie Boy on me.
How ironic would that be?
I don't care if the kid's Michael Vick. I don't want him. He played for Butchie Boy. He's a nice player, though.
Tony, I just found that list. It says we're paying a guy named Billy High $150,000.
That is him, Billy High. Who played,
Alabama's paying some guy named Courtney Morgan $825,000.
Oh! But here's
Oklahoma's
the thing.
paying $750,000. Oregon $900,000. I'm telling you, we're way low on this pay scale.
Cinco, does that concern you, or do you think that that's just whatever? Window dressing those guys.
No, I wish everybody could make as much as they want to make, but no, I don't think it's implied that you make more money, you're better. These guys are all just personnel directors. What that means is the coach says, "Hey, I need 2 safeties. I got this amount of money, or what can we get for this? Can you give me the top 10? Who do you think we have a chance of? Is there any connection with a coach, with a player, etc.?" There is, like I said last night, there is no, maybe except for Andrew Luck, there's no GM in college football going to the head coach and saying, "Coach, we're not taking this kid," or "You're taking this kid." It's not happening.
Yeah, that's the dynamic. W. Lynn, like being a Titan fan in the NFL, that GM gets all the say there. The GM at this level gets just about W. Lynn 0 say.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see this genius punter for Vanderbilt?
Million.
Do what, W. Lynn?
It says North Carolina paid a guy named Michael Lombardi $1.5 million.
That's the guy, Mike Lombardi. Yeah, he's from the NFL ranks. That's right.
Damn, I mean.
And if you think for 1 second,
000.
But W. Lynn, if you think for 1 second that the hoodie listens to him,
yeah.
Hoodie ain't listening to him.
I looked at next year's schedule, and I think we're right now underdogs in 6 games, probably.
Probably, yeah.
So I love Coach Heupel. I want him to succeed, but this friends and family deal with keeping coaches, I hate to tell him this, but if he keeps it up, he might be left running a restaurant called Friends and Families in downtown Clinton or something.
W. Lynn, you're my man. Yeah, the late, great Woody Woodenhofer told me one time, he said, "You want to get fired, hire your friends in my sport." He said, I learned that early on. We'll go back to our phones. It's going to be 14-3, Iowa beating Vanderbilt in the biggest game in the history of Vanderbilt football. Bronny boy, is that the air I hear?
Did you
Did
you see the setup on that touchdown?
It on.
Tell me, Cinco.
Sean, that was incredible.
No, I was looking down. What happened, Cinco? Tell me about it.
Okay, so Vanderbilt, roughly inside their 30, gets a 4th down. They get one of these Australian punters.
Yes.
They've got like 4th and 27.
Yes.
So this guy, thinking he's going to be cute, starts running to the right. Nobody picks him up, and he keeps running, and he finally punts the ball, but the genius at Vanderbilt's over the line of scrimmage. So he punts the ball over the line of scrimmage. They get it where he punted it, plus a penalty, and first play is a touchdown pass. So there's your think tank in Nashville.
Pavia has been sacked. He's been hit. He's been drilled at least 3 or 4 times. It's amazing to watch. That's what I was hoping. Well, of course, you can forget about what thinking Tennessee could have done that or try to do that because that's just not who they are.
No.
You think the brothers are in the drunk tank already?
You think they're in jail?
This is the
That's
final.
The same thing.
This is the This is the final game. It's so great. Come on. Come on. Let's get our next
That's
call
going to quiet all 5 of their fans for a little bit, I think. You get a humble like this.
The Vol Daddy.
Because you know they were just ready to
the Vol Daddy was all over
the Vols were just humiliated in their bowl game and lost, and they won theirs, and they're 11-2 and all that. But hey, Vandy, allowing a touchdown to Iowa in a bowl game, I can't relate to you.
No. I mean, look, we've done some pretty horseshit things around here. But when we played Iowa, we rolled them like the damn joint cigarette they are. Okay?
Putting up 3 points in one half against Iowa in a bowl game, I can't relate to that either.
Hello. I mean, there's white lightning, and then there's light whitening. And they are light whitening at Iowa. Although Tim Dwight is one of the fastest return men, fastest white guys I've ever seen in my life. There have been a few faster ones. I've seen a few faster white guys on Patrol Live after police chases, but that's about it. Let's go back to the phones.
One of your starting cornerbacks for Eagles is a white DB.
I love him.
Iowa.
Is he a hell of a player, Cinco, or is he a hell of a player? Is Cooper DeJean? You can go out there in the NFL as a white guy and go out there and ball out like him. Shit.
He's dating someone who's 20 years older than he is.
Is he really?
Yeah, I saw a picture. She's some kind of a model or something, but she's 20 years older than he is.
Go! He looks like young Anthony. I said, Anthony.
He does.
I said, that kid
She could be his mom.
I said, Anthony, that kid looks like you. And Anthony said, yeah, I'd like to have his bank account. Let's go back to the phones.
You ever watched? Have you watched him play high school basketball?
Who dat?
It was crazy. It was crazy. DeJean, he played point guard. All he would do is just dribble down and dunk over people.
So
it's a 6 foot white kid just taking up and just posterizing everybody in high school.
So a great athlete, Cinco.
Incredible athlete.
Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. Why am I 26 minutes in after doing what we did last night? What are we doing?
Let's wrap it up, Tony B.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hello, Tony.
Hey, Richard, welcome in.
Oh man, it's good to be in. It was hard to get in last night. I finally gave it up. So, but a lot of good conversation from last night after the game, and a lot of good conversation so far today. Simply, answer your question. First of all, I'll start with after the year's done. Offensively, you can say, okay, this team this year flipped basically their entire roster from last year and had to go find a quarterback last minute to plug in. So I'm not gonna be harsh on the offense this year for as many players they had to flip. I think they lived up for the most part to do what they do to win enough games this year. Yes, a lot of mistakes were still made, but that every college football team makes mistakes and stuff like that. You got to overcome them. Defensively, though, this is at the end. This goes back to the end of last year, knowing what you were losing up front, and Josh Heupel, being the offensive guy, put all the confidence in his defensive coaching staff and said, "You guys know what y'all need," and those guys were willing to sit pat with their front seven. And they thought that they could get these 18-year-old kids, like Dr. Sinclair said, their best players are 18-year-old kids. They're not ready to physically play in the trenches of this league. I don't care how blue chip they are. Very few unicorns come around that are 18, 19-year-olds that can dominate at a high level that you want, when they're that young. It takes several years of strength and training and developing to really get what you want out of those kids. So we decided to stand pat, and we played with defensive ends across the board other than Jackson Waugh, who was hurt a lot and couldn't give us nothing. We just didn't have anything in the middle. It's kind of like baseball. When you're weak up the middle at catcher, at shortstop, and at center field, you're in trouble. Well, we were weak in the tackles, and we were weak at linebacker, and then it put everything on the safeties who made horrible angles all year. It was just an entire train wreck on defense. And again, it goes back to the staff. They sat pat and said, we can ride with what we got coming up, and we'll get them ready to play. And it backfired, tremendously. And then, again, the game plan last night, I don't understand it. It's hard for an offense to have any kind of rhythm when the other team keep away from you the whole game, and you still don't change anything on defense. Well, why not just put 8 guys up in the box and say, you know what, if you throw over the top and get a touchdown in 1 minute, okay, I get the ball back. Now we can get in some rhythm. It just made no sense, especially when they got the ball last. Roll the dice, blitz them, do whatever, bring 8 guys up, dare them to throw it over the top and say, we're going to get the ball back one way or the other. And, again, just, I'm dumbfounded sometimes by just poor play call. Again, weak players in a lot of plays. I know it's hard sometimes to call defense when you're weak in certain spots, but you can still at least gamble. You can still throw caution to the wind and say, you know what, I can't do it this way, so I got to try something else. And we never tried really nothing else. And it was disappointing sitting there watching them milk the clock out and go down and win that game.
That was a coaching clinic, Richard. Unfortunately, it was the other sideline that put the clinic on because they did everything they wanted in that game, didn't they?
Yeah, and it wasn't team speed that beat us. No, we're not. We don't. Yes, we don't have this great team speed on defense, but Illinois wasn't faster than us on the field last night. They just played better as grown men than we did. So in the end, the difference in that game last night was their defensive line caused just enough havoc in our passing game and made enough plays like the turnover for the touchdown and got into Aguilar's face when we would try to throw the ball downfield, and we didn't affect Altamar enough at all. And he was able to pretty much play his game.
Are you worried about our pass protection going into next season with this offensive line?
I mean, I think every team worries about their pass protection because it's hard to find great pass protectors in college football. There's very few and far between. That's why the NFL's, is so bad at pass protecting for quarterbacks. It's one of the hardest things to do when you got athletic defenses running all over the place. It is a very difficult thing to teach. Very few guys have the skill level and the bend to excel at it. And you just got to try to hope you can do your best at coaching most of them up. So, I think there's a lot of young, promising players with our freshmen. You started 2 freshmen last night. I think both of them can be very, very good ball players. You're just going to get what you get out of Hurd and the rest of those guys. And again, offensive line play, Tony, is not great at a lot of places. There's a lot of people who spend a lot of money on their offensive lines this year in college football, and their offensive lines are not very good. Alabama has a 5-star studded offensive line. They can't run block worth a flip.
Turnstile.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is. It's one of the most difficult positions to play and to excel at, and again, that's what kind of makes me even more angry, just knowing that we didn't do enough to replace defensively to affect the other team enough this year, like we did the previous year. And standing pat, you can't do that. This year, we've got to get 2 defensive tackles. We got to get 2 linebackers. We got to get 3 DBs. We got to spend money and give money to Knowles. I think they're going to. I think that's one of the reasons he came to Tennessee. I think they said, look, you got the bank. You got the checkbook. You go get the stud players you need to make it work next year. And I really think we're going to be aggressive come next week and what we're going to bring in to try to raise this defensive talent level up. And that way the young guys can develop and grow behind some more veteran players that will come in. But, again, everybody's in the same position we are except for 3 or 4 teams that will return, their elite talent like they do because they just have those elite rosters like Ohio State and a few others, Georgia and stuff. Everybody else is going to be in the same position, Tony, as we are. It's going to be portal crazy trying to regrow your roster. So it really does come down to the end who does the best at finding the amount of players through the portal to make their team better. And that's going to be 90% of all of Power 4 football.
Are you worried about the Heupel era?
Shoot, Tony, I mean, we could say we're worried about, I think, every, era other than the first couple of years. No, I don't like what I saw out of his football team this year, and I don't, him standing pat again. He is the head coach. I'll give Doc Song credit. He's the CEO, and it buck stops with him, and he needs to interject himself into more aspects of his program and just not be strictly with the offensive side, because it does stop with him. He is the head coach. And you can fire all the guys you want, do this. It all comes back to that guy, and he has to interject himself because again, Tony, he has a lot of wonderful qualities, things that I think he can be a really good head coach, and there's things that I like about him, but he's also got to be willing to make those changes to make himself better, because all head coaches over their career have an opportunity to get better. Trust me, go back and watch some of Nick Saban's early years at Michigan State and some of his teams and the mistakes and that. But Nick always grew. Every year he learned to get better as a coach. And when he went to LSU and then by the time he got to Alabama, great head coaches continue to learn and learn from their mistakes and get themselves better. Signetti is outstanding. The guy's, 66 years old? He's been doing it a long time.
Yep.
He's had a long time to evaluate himself
Yes.
and what he's good at and what he's not good at and continue to make himself better. And those are the head coaches that over time that do get better because they evaluate themselves and they're honest with themselves and they continue to improve. We're going to find out this offseason what this team does and how they approach next year, whether or not Heupel makes those changes.
Richard, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be really, 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 really interesting. And again, the thing about the changes and the players, you could have great plans right now and they might not come to fruition. It doesn't mean you didn't have great plans. That's going to be the trick here, right, Sink? I mean, that's one thing to keep in mind. Like if we see a bunch of non-activity the first 3 or 4 days of the portal, Sean, people are going to freak out, and it could just be that things fell through.
Well, my concern, and what a wonderful call by Richard. Every point he made, I totally agree with. Just a great call. But my concern with the program right now is the time. The programs turn around like aircraft carriers.
Mm-hmm.
You can change things. You can add a quarterback and change your dynamic. You can do this, but you can't make 18 and 19-year-old kids 23-year-old kids overnight.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that there's no portal shopping center where you walk into the quarterback aisle and pick your guy. It's not that.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee has shown through the years in this portal thing, now early days, but in the portal, that they're looking for value. And they've come up with the Hood and the McCoy and some of these other kids are just wonderful evaluations and good values that made their money later. But Tennessee has, I don't remember in the portal, especially football, really going toe to toe and winning a big time bidding war. And that doesn't mean you're going to get the best player, but we saw that with LSU last year. But what I am saying is Tennessee seems to go on the value. And if you're doing that and you're not going to extend yourself a bit, is there enough time for Josh Heupel?
It's a great question.
You got a brand new coordinator.
No, it's a great question.
I think this what we talked about last. Everyone keeps talking about this. Jim Knowles takes 2 years to get his defense rolling, but it takes 2 years to become elite. I don't care. He could go. I guarantee you, if you gave him 2 weeks with what he had, he could install something better than what we saw last night. There's no question in my mind. It's not. We're not going to be pedestrian on defense next year. We're going to be good, but then the chances are in the next few years, if he's still here, we'll be very good.
Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on our overtime segment.
Hey, what do you say, Tom? Lee.
Hey, Lee. Welcome in, bro.
Yeah, so just kind of listening, I think the one word that's been said a lot, you're asking, what do you learn, I guess, and the word evaluation, I think that's, the biggest thing. It's great if you have a war chest and you can go out and you sign all these players out of the portal. All that's great. But you got to be able to identify specific players that are going to fit your system that you can develop once you bring them in. That's what made Indiana so good. That's what made Vandy so good this year is their ability to evaluate specific players that they knew that they could bring into their system, and it was going to be productive. There's hundreds of players out there that get signed out of the portal, and they don't help their teams at all. They just end up collecting checks. So it's just do you trust in what they're doing up there right now and that staff that they're going to be able to identify the right players to bring in and develop them to have massive impacts? 'Cause I don't think he's got a lot of time. I don't think this guy's got 2-3 years to figure it out.
Lee, what's your answer to that? Lee, do you trust him? What's your answer to that?
I mean, we've hit on some pretty good guys out of the portal.
Very
like,
much.
Look, Brazil. I like Brazil. I know his first year wasn't good, but he was the MVP of this team, I think, this year, man. Like, he masked a lot of stuff. Like, you talk about that Tampa 2 and, like, Heupel not having a curveball. Like, him going up one-on-one against those umbrella coverages and making plays, like, hit a lot of stuff, you know? So, I mean, there's been some players that he's gotten that have been productive. I'm just worried that we kind of dug ourselves such a hole looking at this roster right now that the amount of guys we've got to hit on now, I'm just not real confident in that, you know?
And that's what Columbus was talking about earlier. That's what really pissed me off last year, and people were really angry with me. But I've never let that bother me, just like you've never let it bother you when you give your opinion. I'm going to be a takesman. Some are going to be right, some are going to be wrong. And I was wrong about Brazil because in year one, he came in and he kind of didn't work at it. Year two, there's no question they don't have the year they have if he's not on that roster and he didn't develop into the player he became. And I'll be curious to see what kind of pro career he has. But there is very little doubt that they hit on him. The thing that I can't understand is if I went to the portal and I got Keenan Peely, and he was really good till he got hurt, and I got a guy like Mo and the Jackson Moy, and I got I've had guys I've been successful with. I had the guy that went to Miami. He was going to be a nice player. I had the kid that I brought in from Temple. He was an okay player. I got these offensive linemen. I got McCoy. He developed into a pro. What in the hell am I doing last year when I make the playoffs, Josh Heupel, that I don't need to go get double-digit players out of the damn portal? I mean, in what planet does that make any sense to anybody? You should have signed 14 guys out of the transfer portal last year. Why? Because it's what your whole sport is doing. What are you, half asleep, man? You got a window. You got an easy schedule. If they would have brought 14 guys in like I was screaming for them to do, you know what we would have done this year? We would have had a little bit of a better defense, probably, and we would have been scratching for a playoff spot. But instead, we didn't beat anybody that could play because we didn't add any players. I mean, it's stupid.
He guessed right about what he had at wide receiver, but he missed everywhere else.
It was idiotic. Like Richard
I got a question
said.
for you guys.
Yeah.
I got a question for you guys, and this will be controversial.
Yeah.
I get it. But just think about it from a strategy point of view. Okay, we're talking about having to go to a second-tier quarterback in this market, right?
Yes.
Because we're going to have so much invested in the room. It's cutthroat, but why don't you tell George McIntyre, we love you, but we don't see it happening, brother. And you take that money and you go and get who you want for that 1 year and then phase on's your guy. It's a gamble, and it's a controversial question, but it's a real question because sometimes you got to make a decision and then you got to go, because right now we're going to be paying two quarterbacks that can't play.
Yes.
They won't play. They don't play.
Don't play. That's correct. And I don't know what the answer to that is. Go ahead, Lee.
So Oregon basically just told their highly touted freshman quarterback, Austin Nova, said you can go on and hit the bricks, Dorothy. We're going in the portal.
There you go.
I mean, that's kind of the direction you kind of got to go. You know, I mean, I'm with it. I'm going to tell GMAC hey, look, either one, we're going to put you on the field because look, this is football. If you can't gain the weight, whatever. Your time is either now or you're not going to have it. It's either send the kid off, let him go somewhere else, or put him out there and see what happens. If he gets broken in half, he gets broken in half. It's football. I hate to be that way, but you can't really hold this thing hostage. You got to figure it out one way or the other. Make a decision. You know,
Lee, if we put, and I respect what you're saying, but if we put him out there, and that happens, you lose the opportunity to get another guy, you're potentially 5-7 next year.
Oh, I'm saying make a decision either way. I don't care which one it is. I mean, I'm fine telling the kid, hey, if you can't gain weight, we don't have any use for you. Okay, that's fine. if you're going to keep him, I'm just saying play him. I'd rather play him and see what he can do than go out and add another salary to that quarterback room.
Yeah, the problem last year at this time of the year is they should have had a hard look in the mirror, kind of like what Sean's advocating here, and a hard look in the mirror saying, hey, you know what? This Nico thing's not going to work out. We have to be proactive. I wouldn't count on that coaching staff, Sean, and that head coach to be proactive. Would you?
Oh, there's no way, and I can, you know what, I can appreciate it because you got a in-state kid who was a 4 or 5 star, who's got a big name and family in the mid-state area.
We're
and
not
that's
advocating doing it.
And I can appreciate that. He's not our coach and coaching staff are not throat cutters. Yeah. And as a father, I can appreciate that.
Yep. But you're in a sport, because there's always a but. You're in a sport where you're either going to kill or be killed. And you're either going to get roadkill or you're going to be killed or you're going to kill. And unfortunately, Josh Heupel didn't make up the rules of engagement. He can only play by them. And you're fighting for your literal career every minute of every day in this deal. And the poor guy can't gain weight. And I'm sorry, and I'm not saying you need to run him out. Sean, you brought it up. That is exactly what they would do at Oregon, though. That you are 100% on the money. It's what they would do at Georgia. It's what they would do at Alabama. It's what they would do at Florida. I mean, it's just what they would do. Tennessee's in a spot now, and Lee's right about this, and people have said to me, if you have those 2 quarterbacks, let them play. You have issues, and you have issues elsewhere. I think that's accurate. You do have issues. You have a ton of issues with this team. So, it's what's interesting about it.
Some of these other quarterbacks,
but you know as I do, if you run them out and you start losing, you're dead.
Oh, no. Again, if you determine that this guy can't gain weight, Sean, you ought to let him go. You brought it up. You said it. The answer is you ought to let him go. But go ahead, Lee.
I was going to say, y'all were talking about Levitt. Look, this isn't the NFL when you go sign a quarterback for free agency for 6-7 years. You're buying these guys for 1 year. Yep. So in my opinion, any of these guys that have any sort of injury questions are immediately you put a black X through them.
Isn't it crazy?
I'm not giving Levitt money. I'm not giving DJ Lagway money.
Agree.
Because there's no way. This is a 1 year proposition.
I don't want to deal with it. I'll tell him myself. I didn't realize the extent of that kid's injury. I knew he was knocked out for the year. Russell Smith kind of said to me, hey, man, you know the injury that guy has? And I was like, not really. And he said, it's kind of a syndrome. It's a serious, serious foot injury. I'm with you, Lee, on that. If I'm spending money on you, I better damn well sure know that you can play. I agree with that, Lee.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the pros. We're buying them for 1 year.
Yes.
And so I don't even want to risk that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
But anyway, so you like Miami tonight, man? You think they're going to do it?
Yeah, you hate them, right?
I just don't know how they score, man.
That's a good point.
I think it's real ugly. I can see Miami having a lot of success, shutting Ohio State down, but I think Ohio State eventually probably scratches enough, and it's probably I can see this being 17 to 6. Something like that, and then Ohio State tacking on a field goal or a late touchdown, and this thing ended up 23-6, something like that. It's probably pretty ugly, but I have a real hard time seeing how Beck does anything against that Ohio State defense.
What do you guys think Beck's age is anatomically? We know what his age is, but when you watch him move, how old do you guys think he is? That poor guy, how beaten up he is. 35? What is he at this point, Lee?
He's weird. He's weird looking, isn't he?
Well, he's weird. His body. He's all beat up.
Watch him and Phillip Rivers. Wasn't a whole lot of difference in their tape.
I'm not. No, I'm not kidding. He looks like a 40-year-old guy out there playing quarterback.
Their arms are about the same too.
It's a cruel sport, man.
Put a whole lot on it.
It is a cruel sport.
Tony, I just don't. I don't see how you can. I don't see how you can take out the Mario Cristobal factor tonight.
No doubt about that. Cristobal.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
Yep. Thank you.
Have you heard what the get-in price is for this game tonight?
The get-in price. What is it, Brian?
It's less than $40. You can get into that game, which tells me Ohio State fans are waiting until the semifinals, maybe the championship.
Yep, you're right.
And they're waiting until after New Year to travel.
I mean, guys, listen. If you're an Ohio State fan and you're used to the success they're used to, the last thing you want to see at one of these home sites or one of these host sites is Ohio State in your game. Just like Alabama several years ago. Those people are bored shitless up there.
And they're playing a team that does not bring that won't bring a tremendous amount of fans in Miami.
Hey, Brian, Miami doesn't have a fan base. They have
yes, that's what I'm saying.
They have Michael Irvin over there on the sidelines. It looks like he's literally went out to the 45-yard line and put the whole thing up his nose. Cinco and Brian, it's been a lot of fun, boys. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you guys. It's been great.
Happy New
Tony,
Year.
thanks so much
Be
for
safe.
another year of having me on. I sure do appreciate it. Love you and Tony, and great call, Lee. And Happy New Year to everybody. Go Big Orange.
Thank you, boys. Thank you. And Vanderbilt, I want to congratulate you for your performance. Really the biggest game in school history for you, your biggest bowl game, your greatest accomplishment, and you were literally getting squashed like a bug by Iowa, who might have 3 athletes on their offense. They might just have, 3 what you would call athletes on offense. Love you, appreciate you, love your show. We'll talk to you on Friday. No bloggy tomorrow, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. I really do have a feeling Miami's going to get Ohio State tonight, which could only mean one thing, and that's probably that you should run right now. Run over to VIP play and put like everything that you own on the opposite thing occurring, because I couldn't pick a family member out of a room full of I can't say that. Let's see here. I was told last night you're not allowed to say more wins in a Chinese phone book. Somebody texted me, or they said that's unbecoming of you to say things like that, and they were disappointed in me. I said, hey, don't be disappointed in me. But I do say, let's go Canes. And Martin Luther King, I want my money. I want penny rolls. I want you to roll pennies. $10 at a time. Love you. Appreciate you.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
It was a late night for us. Thank goodness for sleep aids. I woke up at like 7:30 in the morning and just decided, you know what, I'm just going to get up and live with the headache, so to speak. And that's kind of where we are, living with the headache. Pour a little caffeine